We are live and ready to go. Ready to go. Yeah, I think we all set. Think we all set. To make sure you hit that like button as you make your way into the building. Make sure you hit the like button. Been working out a little sore. I'm actually legitimately sore from getting a legitimate workout in. But anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for coming on in today. Appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit the like button, whether you're catching it right now, you're catching it after it's uploaded. We will be joined by the Hood Conservative. We will be joined by him, even though the communication is kind of going awry this morning, but we will be joined by him. So we will see how that goes. But I was prepared to do the show with or without him, but I do believe he's going to be here. But shout out to everybody in the building. Let's get ready to go. Let get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right. What's up? Throat. My voice gave out on me real quick. But what's up, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early before we even get things going. We got Stoic One in the building. Says peace to BR in chat. Snuggles, who came over there stalking me when I was on the Lapeef network, because JB has a show over there, so I was over there on that show last night. It was a good show, great experience over there. It was late. It got late. It was going on to midnight. I had to tap out, go home. Ended up not going to sleep, but either way. Shout out to Snuggles. Shout out to RM. Logan JJ in the morning says, good morning to everyone. Salute, except you, Snuggles. That bear is creepy. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Shout out to Uneducated Lame, a channel member. It's funny how you responded to that Patreon video. What you said in response to that Patreon only video was Patreon only and members only. But the way you responded to it was pretty damn funny. Darth Low trademark in the building says, "Damn it, Snuggles." Hit the like button as RM suggests. Deacon Dave in the building. Aaron B. Who we got right here? Shavar 1983. Just Being Jazzy. Podcast clips and crafty ideas. Alpha Male Honesty. Only because you got alpha male in your name, I'm going to say
Beta!
But he was
Beta!
knocked out of the race. Oh no.
Beta male!
only because you got alpha male in your name. I'm just gonna hit you with that. Mac the Trucker in the building says, "Congratulations, Bernard, for being on the People Network last night. Salute, brother." Oh man, that wasn't no big deal, But no, it is. You know, that's you know, yeah. It was cool. It was definitely awesome to be over there. But shout out again to Just Being Jazzy. Shout out again to who else we got in here? Charles D. Curry, KD in the building, Spiffy Minded, Trader MBD. Okay, all right, there you go. I knew he was going. I saw Trader MBD in my mind. I was like, all right, the conservative ain't gonna be too far behind. So I'm glad you're here. I was planning on doing this one. Oh shoot, you gotta forgive me for stretching. Like I said in the little pre-intro, you know, I say this all the time now. Hey, I'm back working out, but no, I've been serious doing it now, and I'm like sore. Upper body, all arms, shoulders, chest, no legs. I know how I do, but yeah, I'm sore. I'm like sore right now. But yeah, I'm glad I sent you the email, Hood Conservative. So I mean, I sent the link through the email. So we'll go on and get started on there. He says, "I didn't know where the term zaddy came from until last night. Can't be calling other men pet name." Yeah. It's like a sexual pet name, basically. It's like it's a weird thing. That's why, you know, on my Patreon and members only, I'll talk about that while I wait for Hood Conservative to come up. The people in here right now, y'all are family. I can go on and divulge things. I'm debating and divided on where I'm going to go with it, but I know what just happened with the last Patreon and members only video. I just had a random thought in my head of where the hell did they start calling white men zaddy? And so I just did a little research and then just riffed on that, like the whole concept. And it's to the point to where men say it. Like I was listening to Jason Black, and some chick was on there talking about how you know, how some dude she was messing with was a bum or whatever, and then he asked was she white or black, and then she said, oh, he was white. And then so he appropriately called the dude based off everything she said about him. He called him a white pookie. But then like 30 seconds later, he turned around and said, and then you over there with zaddy. And I'm like, what? It's like it made my ears like ugh. Like why the hell? Like it's like when men say that, it just sounds so cringy. Like some stuff you gotta let only black women say it. Just let them say it. Because like I explained, I shouldn't give away. I mean, hey, become a member if you want to hear my analysis. I'll just touch on it from this little small bit right here. The term women, the term zaddy, as I researched it, where it came from, you know, it basically was either you got called that, you got started getting called daddy or zaddy. It's two reasons. Okay, came from sugar daddy or a dude, if he just putting it down in the bedroom, she be calling him daddy. There's normally a lot of that. I ain't even going to go into the BDSM aspect of it. I'm just talking about just normal folks. It's normally like that, but then how black people talk daddy evolved to zaddy, and so that's where it came from. But either way it go, it's like a sexual dominance context to it. Either way, whether he sugar daddy in or he just really just knocking it out good. Either way. So that's where it come from. It's like an endearing sexual nickname, and I don't know how it morphed to the point to where, you know, we ain't talking about some silver fox pulling up in Lamborghini to scoop Shaquanda up out of the projects, you know. Yeah, that she could say she could say that's white zaddy. Okay, I guess she could say that, but it could be a broke dude. Well, where did it go from there to just any broke dude at at 7-Eleven? The broke white dude to work at 7-Eleven, and she got to go pick him up. How did that get morphed into calling him zaddy? I was just trying to figure that out. I mean, yeah, Royce J said it was a seeking arrangement term, zaddy. Okay, so yeah, it was mixed in with sugar daddy, like that. But now I think the swirler divestment sphere has just took it to any just random white dude who can have that title. You could pick a white bum off the street. I got me a zaddy. So that's where they morphed it. That's what they did with it. And I'm just sitting here looking like when black men referring to them, like we should never mind. I explained it thoroughly. I explained it thoroughly on my on the Patreon and members only. I'm not trying to go all the way there. All right, yeah, you're right. You said you've now given away the entire. All right, I started riffing, but I was waiting for Hood Server to pull up. Now you're there. My bad. But yeah, but now anyway, we got. Oh, let me get my headset on. We got. Where is this? Okay, this is what I'm trying to do. All right. Got the Hood Servative in the building. What's going on? You might need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, what up, man?
What is up? Thank you for being here. Yeah, sorry you had to sit through me talking about the origin of the term zaddy and how even a white dude who homeless or work at part-time at 7-Eleven can get the term. But anyway, sorry you had to sit through that.
No, that's cool. You got to go through I like going down these little weird rabbit holes and finding out how stuff originates, because you always wind up in a funny place, man. You got to take the journey sometime.
Right on. But no, I was definitely excited to reach. Well, we haven't done it in a while, so I was excited to reach back out to you on this one. I was haven't done a topic like this in a while, so I was like, hey, this right up David Monroe alley. I was going to get SKC on it, but then I was thinking like you or SKC, so I actually reached out to both of y'all. So it's so I'm glad you were actually able to make it. So yeah, we're gonna get into this, but before we get started, I got a clip that I just listened to, and the cringe was so bad because it went to the point of where the woman basically admitted to not just, hey, if my kid is transgender, then yeah, I'll love them and accept them all the same. You probably push back on that. I don't fight or argue with the ones who, if that's the energy they got, hey, if my kid is gay, I'm going to love them and treat them all the same. If they grow up, if it's at some point they tell me, hey, I'm trans or I'm this, I'm non-gender conforming by blah, 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 whatever the hell they calling it. Hey, I'm just going to love them all the same. That's my kid. A lot of people in that perspective, I understand that perspective, but the thing is that in the clip that I'm going to show is like they basically they're proving their worst critics right, because people like yourself would tell them that no, y'all are bending over backwards to indoctrinate these kids with your ideology. And in the clip I'm going to show, she practically admitted it. So that's what we're going to be getting into today, and that's why I definitely had to reach out to the Hood Servers. But just overall, before we even get into the clip, just give your general take and perspective on just overall just wokeness, this whole concept of being woke, and how black people are completely in on it. A lot of black people, where just any crazy thing can just get put on the table and just get accepted as true. So go ahead. What's your overall general take on that before we dig into the clip?
Yeah, I've actually been doing a lot of like work
Mhm.
in this whole arena on my channel because hell, it was a show I did a while back that actually got like pulled down for some reason. But I was basically saying that Black America is a part of the Matrix now because like all this wokeness is like definitely you can see a weird agenda behind all this stuff. It's like you
Mhm.
can't take anything on its individual face value. It's all sort of moving things into a certain direction. And then two, it's like it takes your whatever natural sense of like I don't know camaraderie or caring or compassion for another person you may have, and then tries to drag you to some kind of absurd extreme with your camaraderie. That's why you now have to tell the women, tell the men that they're women. You have to agree with them with that they're women, otherwise you're the bad person. Like that's what they're really trying to do, and it's a messed up mind game to be playing on people, especially like adults. It's one thing with adults; it's almost annoying with adults. It's like, come on, stop messing with me. But now we start to see how they're actually trying to indoctrinate the children with this woke stuff, so that they'll grow up with a mental framework that doesn't even allow them to have a concept of normal anymore. And that's
Yeah.
that's some powerful shit where you're just destroying the concept of normal for children. And that's what really kills me about this whole thing of woke. It's like there is no baseline reality. You can be anything, you can think anything. And that's the thing too. It's a lie. You can't be anything. You can be anything but normal. You can be anything but honest. You can
Mm.
be anything but regular. You can be anything but fucking hetero. You have to be cisgender. Like everything like that is now bizarre. All the normal stuff has a bizarro land reality to it now.
Mm. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I knew you was gonna kill it on that one. Knew you was gonna kill it on that one. All right, let me get the clip pulled up in the chamber. Should have. Well, no, actually, yeah, it is ready to go. Ready to go. Right here. This was actually older, and somebody sent it to me, and but it was an older clip. It's a little. Hold on, let me back it up. Yeah, it was an older clip. Somebody sent it to me. It's from Good Morning. I was about to say Good Morning America. Good Morning Britain. And it's crazy how in America we kind of head in the sand, don't know what's going on in other countries. We don't be knowing. We don't be caring. We think we think the world revolve around the United States. In some ways, it kind of do, but but that's how we think. That's how we look at it. But it's crazy how they doing the same thing over there. Canada is completely crazy when it comes to this stuff. But Britain, yeah, they got the same thing going on over there too. And we're gonna roll through this, and then we're gonna tie it to black folks completely buying in, hopping on board with it, in how in many ways we are. In many ways, we are the last ones who should be buying into it. But then there's the argument of, oh, well, we can't be the ones who are showing intolerance given our history. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit too. But all right, but right now we're gonna dig into the clip. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button and let people know that y'all are here. Let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go. Where is shit? All right, let's go.
We have heard of people who identify as non-binary using the pronoun they or their instead of he or she. But what about this? Having a they be instead of a baby. It's a new term.
Okay, wait, hold on. Have you heard that term before? Not baby, they be. Like they,
Yeah.
like the they them pronouns. See, I don't be deep diving into this stuff. You be down them rabbit holes. So you
I
tell me,
mean,
when did you first hear about a they be?
like about a year ago, maybe.
God
I
damn.
remember. I think it was like a clip on Tucker Carlson. Some woman he had that was like a recurring guest who was like always talking some extra liberal shit. He was asking her about the term "theybies," and I don't know that there's a literal definition to a "theyby." Is just adding like a weird gender pronoun because again, you can't just have a normal baby, and it's so I try to understand the rules of this stuff, and there's so many weird, like, logical traps and contradictions there. So it's like you don't want to give the baby a gender, but you're still calling them a they. Like what? Like, let the baby
Yeah.
decide what he wants to be. Then don't call the baby anything. How about that? Be that bold to not call the baby shit. How about that? I don't get
Right.
this whole thing.
Yeah. All right.
That some parents are using to show that they're bringing up their offspring gender neutral. It's a very interesting situation. Just tell us a little bit about Sparrow. Are you able to even say how Sparrow was, what gender Sparrow was born, or is that something you avoid talking about altogether?
Well, the whole point of gender is that we don't know Sparrow's gender yet. As far as what their anatomy is, we do choose to keep that private, to a short list of caregivers.
Now, this was
What the best you can break down why that would even be a thing. to keep the because okay, just for those who don't know, I do understand this much about it. Okay, your sex is based on per what they're saying. There's your sex. That's your anatomy. That's whether you got boy parts or girl parts down there. That's your sex, basically. Your gender is, per their argument, something else going on in your mind, basically. How you perceive, how you inwardly, outwardly perceive yourself, or something like that. That's basically what that is. So they're saying, okay, so I get okay. I'm going down the rabbit hole with them. They're saying I don't want to apply a gender because we can start calling him a boy, but then what if he grows up and feels like a girl? So we just want to let him grow up and just see what he feels like, and then we could apply, and then we will acknowledge that gender that he chose. So if we accept that rabbit hole aspect of it, then what is the meaning, reason, and purpose of saying that whatever his sex is, whatever his anatomy, we're going to hide that from the public? The general public can't know what the sex or anatomy, just can't know what the child is, whether it's biologically boy or girl. What the best you can explain why on that one.
I can't say why as to like there's a definite goal that these people have. What I think about it is it's a form of like antisocial behavior. It's an extreme antisocial behavior. Like these are people who are at war with reality to the point where they almost hate reality. And so they're on a mission to destroy reality, not only for themselves. This is like why you kind of have to warp your thinking. And also you see a lot of people essentially like warp their physical appearance. That's why you see like the wild hair and the exotic tattoos all over the place, and the crazy piercings in places you should never have piercings. Like these are people who are really trying to destroy reality. And I think this is just like various elements of just being at war with basic nature.
All right. F Holiday in the building with a super chat. He says, new anatomy books. Babies are pushed out by the birthing people. Shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate the super chat.
Not the situation, was it, with Hazel, who was your first child? Because Hazel,
Yes,
you did
that's
bring up in, as a little girl.
Well, I did assign binary pronouns to Hazel initially, yes. And then when they were older, they articulated a preference for using they, them pronouns.
Right, just so I get my head around all this, obviously very complicated.
And at any moment where if you want me to pause it, just say something.
All right, go ahead.
To you, but it's complicated to me. So let me try and just lay this out. Explain your domestic setup. You're married, is that right?
Yes, I'm in a multi-adult family. There's 3 of us that are raising 2 children, an 8-year-old and my 1-year-old.
And how would you describe yourself? You were born biologically male, or how would you
I'm
describe it?
non-binary. Yeah, I'm non-binary, which means that I don't identify as a man or a woman, and I use they them pronouns.
Okay, and your wife or partner, is it a wife? How would you describe your other half?
Well, all of the adults in my household identify as transgender or non-binary.
Right. And
Stop
you're only
right there.
married to
Stop
one, or
right
you
there.
married-
Hold on.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine that house. Like a house full of transgenders. Some people have no gender. Some people have all the genders. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, who takes out the garbage? Really?
Taking out the garbage is a non-gender specific duty.
No, it's not.
So-
The man takes out the garbage. If
Nope.
there's men in the house, the men take out the garbage.
Nope. It's not gender. It's a gender neutral duty. Taking out the trash is non-binary. So-
Oh shit. Hold on, the trash is non-binary now. When did the garbage become gay?
Yeah, but again, okay. So right now they just asking about the living arrangement of the adults. Look, I don't care what adults do. That's fine. Adults want to, hey, they three adults can shack up, live up, do what they do. I ain't tripping about that. That's not the problematic part. Somebody want to do a little threes company living arrangement. Actually, a lot of black people they don't be talking about this type of polygamy that she talking about, but a lot of black people do be talking about polygyny. Actually, is what they be talking about, a situation where everybody is for the most part straight. A straight man living with 2 women who are straight, but probably a little bi. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, I was just watching something. Oh my God, who was it? All right, so there's this guy called The Saint and the Sinner, and yeah,
I know the video. Go ahead. That was
so he's talking to a couple. Well, what do you call a double couple? A quadruple?
I don't know, but I know
because
exactly.
like it's a group. So there's 2 women and 2 men, but there's a woman in the center of it who's like the primary, I guess is a good way to describe her. She's the prime. She's Black woman is God prime, and she has a co-wife.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so that means she, along with this woman, they are both married to 2 guys, and they all live together in one house. And not only are the 2 women married, it's an open marriage. So if they decide to get some outside dick, because of course 2 husbands is never enough, they could get some outside dick. So yeah. These people exist.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it'd be a lot of black people talking about polygyny for different reasons, but that was some weird stuff that was going on that particular show. It was I watched it, and he was picking them apart real good. Real good. It was definitely entertaining. He did a good job. I give him his props on that. I still can't even talk about him without thinking about that whole little beef he had with O'Shea. So that's why I don't even.
I know that's why. Like I was like, bro, it's odd watching the character arc. That's all I'm gonna say. The character arc with that guy is amazing.
I know. I was like, I wanted to do a reaction video to that, but I was like, man, I'm not even. I just gotta let all that go. I mean, I'm watching the clouds. But yeah, he is quite the character, and he's smart. He's smart. He's good at what he do. But that whole O'Shea thing was that O'Shea thing was a trip. But
yeah, man.
Asada Muhammad, I think I said that. No, Asada Muhammad, I think I said that right. Biology equals science equals reality. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to you.
Well, hold on. Here's the funny thing about that.
She said, "Is that racial matter?" That's funny. No, I don't think that she looked like her though. But go ahead.
No, when she says biology equals science equals reality, didn't they kill science over the last year? I lost a lot of faith in a lot of the sciencey people. I'm just saying.
What do you mean by they killed science?
Well, I'm just talking about 4 weeks to bend the curve. This thing doesn't work, but it actually does. But we don't want you to take. But let's not go down the rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? Science is dead right now. Trust the science, though.
Well, science is still the reigning champion for me, as far as I'm concerned. Science will always win in the end. I just think with the vaccines is gotten to a point where they're pushing it out there, and I'm going to assume, I'm not a conspiracy theorist with none of this. I don't think that it's some put it like this. When you make a vaccine under duress and you put it out there fast, it's like that's the reason why I'm not vaccinated. That's the only reason why. There's plenty of vaccines that science has produced, that over time there's certain diseases, illnesses, afflictions, or whatever that we don't even have no more. Kids don't get chicken pox anymore. The vaccine worked. So vaccines do work, but this one was made under duress. So put it out there. So put it out there without any okay, we gave it to this person. Okay, he got better, and so we're good. So it's like over time, you don't know the long term of it. So it's like you're just putting stuff in people's body, and then coupled with the virus mutating, and then you gotta tweak the vaccine and put something else in them, and then mutate again, and you gotta tweak it, put something in, and it's like it's moving too fast. And thing about science is a slow moving process. You try it, you test it, you reproduce the results, you test it over and over again, and a certain amount of time go by, and these results hold up over time. But it's like with this, it's like they're under duress, so it's not good. And then you throw in the politics. But go ahead.
I just wanted to comment. We made all those wonderful drugs back in that time before we used to think that men could be women. All right, so let's continue.
Wait, say that again. Hold on.
That was back when science was actual science. Things are weird now. The science is very different now. This is what I mean by science. I just lost my faith in the science people is all I'm saying. I'm using hyperbole when I say science is dead. Obviously, reality is reality, but this is what I mean about people are trying to destroy reality in a lot of odd ways. Even with something as simple as this vaccine, they're changing the actual definition of what a vaccine is. If you look it up right now, it'll be something that is pro COVID essentially. So this is what I mean. Just the fundamental nature of reality and truth essentially is being attacked on many, many fronts.
All right. Let's get back in it.
To both.
Legally married to one.
Back up a little bit.
Well, all of the adults in my household identify as transgender or non-binary.
Right, and you're only married to one, or you're married to both?
Legally married to one.
Right,
in a relationship with another.
So the one you're legally married to, what is their name?
Bren.
Bren, and Bren identifies as
a woman. Uses she, her.
And she was born a woman and remains identifying as a woman?
Yeah, she's
Wait,
a
stop.
woman.
Can you go back a few seconds? Did she just say he is a she, her? Did you just misgender your own wife? I want to hear that again.
I think you're right. I heard that and I just kept going because I was like, that must be a new name. I couldn't make out what she was saying. I couldn't make it out.
Bren.
And Bren identifies as
a woman.
A
Uses
woman.
she, her.
And she was born.
Right. He is a she, her.
Identifies as a woman. You see, they say that they couldn't even the
Yeah,
caption
closed
couldn't even
caption.
get it right. It said you see her, but I think she said she's a she her or
Said he is a she, her.
oh he is a she her. Wait, hold on. They misgendering the people in their house. Is that confusing?
Their name.
Bren,
Bren. And Bren identifies as
a woman.
A
He's
woman.
a she, her.
and she was born a woman.
Can anybody
and
see that? Hold
remains
on.
identifying as a woman.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can
she's
anybody see that? I had the caption up there. Well, the caption, hold on. One time, but you did hear what you thought you heard though, right? Hello? Are you there? If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Identifies as
a woman.
A
He's
woman.
a she, her.
and
He is a she, her. Yeah.
Okay, we back. Oh,
Yeah. No, yeah, you was off for a while, but yeah, she said he is a she, her. I even put the caption up to see if that helped, but the caption got it all weird. The caption got it all weird, but I guess a she, her. He is a she, her. That's the thing. That is.
you wonder, like, if they get in the, you know how you have domestic arguments and whatnot, and you know how like sometimes a woman will try to say the most hurtful thing to you in an argument. Do you wonder if she ever goes to all the trans people? You're not a real girl. Shut up. Like, do you just hit them with that every now and then in a fight? Like, I want to know how that works.
Yeah, that got to hit harder than the N word. Yeah, it got like that. Yeah,
and she was born a woman and remains identifying as a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a woman.
Okay, and who's the third member of the setup?
My partner Luna, who
Yeah.
uses they them pronouns as well.
And Luna is male or female, or
Non-binary.
non-binary? And okay, but you're not married to Luna.
No.
Okay, and you have two children in the house.
She loves this attention.
Yes.
Okay, and just to clarify again, Sparrow, we don't know whether Sparrow was born male or female because you haven't said that. But Sparrow is now non-binary.
No, Sparrow is, I would say, antigender, which is a term, that means before gender. Like all children,
Okay.
Is that like paleo gender? Is that Cro-Magnon gender? What the hell is what is before gender?
And I be just learning some of this stuff. Anti-gender. I was counting on you. Is that one new on you?
Oh yeah. Wow.
Nah, it's bad when they springing stuff on that you haven't even heard, because you be deep diving into this stuff. Now, anti-gender.
Yeah.
So she says that means before gender. So she's basically, I think she's setting up to say basically all children, they're born not knowing their gender. So until they become old enough to decide what their gender is, they're anti-gender. So their gender is just, doesn't exist, floating out in space somewhere until the kid, figures out what they are. I think that's more or less what she's saying.
Gender, which is a term, that means before gender. Like all children, at this age are developmentally not able to really understand gender yet. It's just something that they don't have the understanding for. So it's not that the child is non-binary, it's that the child just doesn't have any gender yet.
Right, but the child, look, let me try and get my head around
Like
this.
obviously they do have anatomy.
Right,
Yeah.
so what anatomy does Sparrow have?
Well, that's something that we don't usually discuss unless it's necessary with maybe a medical professional or, a caregiver.
Wait, stop right here.
Right.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Now, this is the part on Pierce now. And it is not Pierce's fault because she walked you into this trap. But and under no normal circumstance would an adult male ever ask a woman the gender of the anatomy of their kid. But you made Pierce do that. You forcing him to ask, does it have a penis or not? That's on
Yeah.
you, lady. Like Pierce he might look like the bad guy for that question, but that's on you, lady.
No, he don't. I don't think he looked like the bad guy. That was he's just trying to find out on normal or traditional terms what is he in normal world. What would us common folks refer to him as? That's all he was trying to ask. And yeah, the boxing match got, it's like he got boxed into a corner where the only punch he had to throw is, do he got a penis or vagina? Yeah.
And look, and she blocked the question. She threw her guards up. Like, I'm not gonna answer none of that. Like, what the hell?
Rebel Zoe said he's not a villain, anti-hero. Yeah. But no, I don't think he did nothing wrong, because it's like, and if they want people to understand it, they got to be able to relay it back to something that makes sense to us. That's why I did the explaining the difference between sex and gender. I think that's important to do, to understand that, okay, so when we're talking about sex, we're talking about the anatomy. What anatomy does this person have? What are they biologically born as? And that's what he was trying to pin her down on that. And then she literally said that we're not even going to acknowledge that. Only the parents and medical professionals know what anatomy this this kid has.
This is why I actually
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but this is why I actually kind of take a different stance on even that initial premise you laid out. And factually, I guess you're not wrong. I wouldn't really argue with.
Oh no,
the
push
points you
back on
kinda
that
made.
one. Go ahead.
No,
push
it's
back on
not.
that
It's
one.
not what you said. It's the feeling the need to even say it is where I
Yeah.
take issue, because
Yeah.
now what we're doing now is even that is almost an acknowledgement to their conception of reality, because
Mhm.
up until very recently the concept of sex and gender was relatively interchangeable, and if you had any configuration of your sex being different from your gender, that was a one-off thing. That was a you thing. It wasn't a linguistic thing. But
Mhm.
now we've turned it, we've actually incorporated people's weird proclivities into basic linguistics. Like, no, sex and gender are always directly related to the physical reality of the body. Some people's mental reality have never lined up to physical reality. And we've always had a word for those people, but up until recently, they decided not to call those people that word anymore. And we took it out of the DSM. What was I like the handbook of crazy shit, basically, where all the psychologists write down all the different mental diagnostics. I forgot the actual name of that book, but they removed essentially what I'm getting at is this. It's really simple and it sounds fucked up, but once upon a time, even to be gay was considered a form of mental illness. And so now when we get to the issues of transgender, that was definitely crazy. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts, you belonged in an institution if that's how you saw yourself. But now we've gotten so far past that baseline reality, we're having a hard time even agreeing on what basic gender and sex really is, when they've always been essentially the same thing.
Let's go.
Right. So,
Ari,
okay.
I just wonder if I can intervene here, because I think that a lot of people find this very confusing. And it's because people think that if you are born with biological anatomy that indicates that you're either male or female, then therefore you have that gender identity. You're a man or a woman. But can you explain why you think that that isn't helpful, that the anatomy that you are born with biologically shouldn't dictate your identity? Because I think that's the sort of bigger point that your situation is trying to get to, isn't it? That when you're born with certain genitals, society decides how you should act. And as far as I'm trying to understand it, that is what you're railing against. Am I right?
Yes, that's a great question and a great clarification. What it is that, yes, commonly people born with one type of anatomy will identify with one gender. People with different anatomy will identify with another. But that totally negates the fact that there are legitimately thousands of people all over the world for whom that is not the case.
So what
It
I would,
is
Stop,
so what
stop
I
right
would
there.
say,
Stop right
Harry,
there.
just
Hold up,
in,
hold up,
you know,
hold
from
up,
that point of view,
hold up.
you're not.
All right, go ahead.
What is the base? Like, what is the percentage of let's say thousands of people versus the actual global population?
Are you
You
talking
see
about?
what?
Oh no, wait,
a
wait.
s-
Are you talking about the number of trans people versus the population, the global population?
Right. Well, she just made a statement that, yes, most people would identify with like baseline physical reality, but then that negates the fact that there are literally thousands of people around the world who don't. I'm like, all right, so there are thousands of people around the world who don't, but there are also like what, almost 10 billion other people?
Well, yeah. See, I ran the numbers, and I'm no mathematician, but it's a very small. It's a small percent of 1%. Um, just looking at just the U.S. alone, it came out to like barely 0.2%. And I could be wrong on the numbers, because I had to find a couple different numbers and do some math, and my math could be wrong, but we're talking about a fraction of 1% of the adult population that that fall into this. So that's going to be something that just makes it to the point that when we get further into this, where she's going to be talking about the children, and then, what I mean, they're talking about it now. They're talking about it now, but they're gonna really narrow it down. Pierre is going to ask the absolute best question, and is going to basically box her into a corner where she's going to have to concede a simple point that they're indoctrinating children, just placating to the possibility that maybe, just in case he is, we have to do, in case there's this 0.2% chance that he's a transgender, we have to make sure that we don't force anything in particular on him. It's going to turn into a really weird thing as it gets moving. But yeah, well, we're talking about a very small percent, a fraction of 1%, basically.
Wow. And the only thing
Thousands
is,
of
you
people.
would think the larger number, the billions of other people actually get to dictate reality. That's the only thing that bugs me about the numbers. It's like, why don't the larger number of people get to dictate reality? But anyway,
Yeah. Well, and that goes back to part of my problem is, okay, well, let's break down the difference between dictating reality versus trying to educate people on something. I think there was a time earlier on where it was more about educating people on these people that are rare, but they exist, and they're people too. So so they were just trying to educate people. They fought for the seat at the table. I always say this: they fought for the seat at the table. They got their seat at the table, and the first thing they tried to do is snatch the mic from everybody, and in many ways become the bullies that they hated all their life, that they had to hide from. They became those same bullies once they got their voice. Basically, that's what a lot of them have done. So yeah, it did transfer from the point over where, when and granted, this was back when I was, real liberal. This was well over a decade ago, when I was learning about this. Like just because it was a story. It's probably, I don't know, this might have been around the time. I don't know if this was around the time of the gay wedding cake incident, where they where it was just like every other, a news. Wait, no, how long ago was that whole situation with the wedding cake? That wasn't that long. That
it was a
was.
couple of years ago.
Oh wait, no, it wasn't that one. It was some other incident then. I forgot what the incident was that made me, go on the internet and say what, because I was seeing what the hell is going on here. Because they started, the early phases of, talking about trans this, and then the LGBT, and they start adding more letters and everything, So I started looking into it, and it was a time when they were, where it wasn't forceful like this. It was just like, hey, let's just educate people about who we are and our differences, so people can know it and just be prepared and blah blah blah. But now it's just got to the point where it's they're being pretty damn forceful with the shit. But fair use.
People all over the world for whom that is not the case.
So what
It
I would
is,
I would
a-
say, Ari, just in from that point of view, you're not necessarily dictated to by society. I mean, if you have a little girl, and she's biologically a girl, she can decide and still be a she. This is, I mean, I'm putting this to you.
I don't
She
think you
can-
can't call her a she, though. Sparrow's not a she.
No,
right?
I know. So let's talk about a different little girl or another
We
child.
don't know if Sparrow's
Yeah.
she or he.
No, that
Really?
is true.
Hmm.
So I'm talking about a little girl whose parents do call her a she. She doesn't necessarily need to, for instance, play with dolls, do cooking lessons
No,
and
exactly.
wear pink.
Gender
She just doesn't have
expression.
to.
Yeah, gender expression is totally different from gender identity. Someone can identify as a boy and, like any color, any toy, sports, dance, pink,
Mhm.
blue, whatever. And same with identifying as a girl or non-binary. People's interests or hobbies or preferences don't dictate what their gender is.
When did
and Sparrow
Hazel?
having a preference?
Yeah,
it
when did
doesn't
Hazel
dictate.
decide that she was no longer going to be a girl?
Hazel decided that they were non-binary when they were about 4. They had been exploring
hell.
gender before
No.
that. It tried
4 years old. See, this is, and that's like it's a joke people make. My kid was 4. He wanted to be a dinosaur, so we let him be a dinosaur for a couple of days, and he grew out of it. Like that is literally a joke people make about this kind of stuff. But I'm sitting here listening to this, and it just occurred to me. Did you see this? The Matt Walsh, Dr. Phil thing.
No.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Let me give some background. So, Matt Walsh, he's over there at the Daily Wire, which is, if Ben Shapiro, they got like this whole outlet. They do like media and YouTube stuff. And Matt Walsh, he's well-known guy in his own circle, in his own right, I guess. But he's on Dr. Phil debating these transgender issues with a bearded lady man. There's a transgender woman who's a man with a full beard. And there's a white guy with long hair and a full beard and a dress and everything. And Matt Walsh just asking just tell me, what is a woman? Just define a woman for me. And that was just a famous clip like in the last 2 weeks or so. It was a big exchange, but it's just like these simple things. Pierce is reminding me of that right now, but it's like, what is a woman? I want you to just describe to me what a woman is. That's what I'm dying for him to ask her that question. Just tell me what a woman is.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's coming right up on the part where he's about to ask her a real good question right now. Fair use.
Yeah, when did Hazel decide that?
Well, not this part. It's coming up after she explained when Hazel decided her gender, or their gender. That they them stuff, it don't make no sense. That they them their program, it makes no sense.
It doesn't. Better off giving the baby a number.
You should just call it it. When did it decide its gender? That sounds better than they.
It does.
All right.
She was no longer going to be a girl.
Hazel decided that they were non-binary when they were about 4. They had been exploring gender before that, trying on different pronouns, experimenting with different names. But they picked they, them pronouns and chose the name Hazel when they were 4
Ari,
years old.
with the greatest of respect, I have a 7-year-old daughter, right? When she was 4 years old, her main decision of the day was whether to watch Peppa Pig or Frozen. She had not a clue what about gender identity or non-binary or any of this stuff. And I put it to you that this wasn't Hazel's idea, was it? This was your idea. You decided that Hazel had gender issues that she needed to address, and you persuaded your daughter that she was no longer to be a girl, didn't she?
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I personally don't agree with that assertion, but I can see how that could be misconstrued. I think that every family environment is unique. And say a child becomes a concert pianist very young, age 6, they're playing Beethoven. Well, maybe is it because their father is a pianist and they had a piano in the home and they explored
Wow.
music earlier? Hazel has a unique education because living in an LGBT family, they
Gay
have met
education.
people of different gender expressions and have been safe to explore their own gender, which has led them to a personal discovery.
Isn't
Does
it,
that mean that
Ari?
All right.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. So, see, listen, this is some creepy shit because we've been like conditioned as a society to sort of see the LGBT, like you were kind of talking about earlier, as just sort of having righteous goals, essentially. Like the things they want are not bad or something like that, so we shouldn't look at them as bad, right? But now when you kind of listen to them, and this is why I actually have to go down the rabbit hole, because the truth is
Mhm.
never on the surface. When you actually listen to them talk about it, it kind of lays bare just a certain raw reality that we really don't want to discuss. And it's just really simple. Heterosexual people reproduce through heterosexual sex, right? That's how you create more heterosexual people. Well, homosexual people cannot reproduce homosexual people through homosexual sex in the same manner. In the same manner. However, you can reproduce homosexual people through homosexual proximity. And I'll let your mind go to the extremes, but this is why people they'll chase you out of polite society for suggesting this, but it is a belief that I hold, that there is a lot of childhood trauma associated with this lifestyle. And
Well, a lot of people. Well, okay, it's two different stories on that one. There are some people who will just say no, they're born that way. Then there are some people that will say that certain childhood trauma, being molested, blah 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 blah, that increases the chance that somebody will have I'm using their term, have some type of have a sexual expression that's not conforming or whatever the hell. It increases the chances they'll be gay or some or some other word that it wrapped into the LGBTQRS. So so um it turns into a situation where basically once she acknowledged that okay, it's not necessarily, because she's all but acknowledged that it's not necessarily that they're born that way. They're basically saying they can be influenced and led to be that way. And
yeah,
when she made that comparison, that if your father was a concert pianist, then you probably be playing Beethoven by the time you're 6, because that's the environment you grew up in, with a piano in your house and the dad who
run that to its extreme, though. Run that to its logical extreme. So you're a gay who comes from a gay from a long line of gays. That's essentially how she's working this shit, man.
Yeah. And so she's basically saying that because we're like that, we're going to create an environment. She basically said, like the piano in the house. She said we're going to create an environment that basically, I mean, I'm being nice and create an environment. It's hard to say that she's not trying to just full blown force it on her children. She's trying to indoctrinate the kids to have some type of I never use the term cisgender. Some a straight. She's trying to basically influence them, indoctrinate them to not be straight. I'm going to use our terms. She's trying to indoctrinate them to not be straight. I mean, you can't say it more explicitly than that. And I'm sitting there listening, like the people like you who just rail and go in on this. I'm like, they don't even. Well, maybe they do realize and don't care. They're giving you all the ammunition you need, because when people used to always say, "Oh, well, they're trying to infect children and they're trying to indoctrinate children," but no. These people, yes, they're literally adopting their own children or figuring out, through sperm donation, however the hell, a sperm bank. They're getting their own children, and they're going out their way not to just say, like I said earlier, that hey, if you could be a straight, full 100% man. You find out one of your kids gay. There's plenty of straight men who just like, hey, I know a guy like that. He was against, he was against gay marriage. This was, he was against all of that. He found out one of his kids was gay, and he fought against it. He was there was, it was a big deal. I'm not going to tell all their business. It was a big deal, but at the end of the day,
Yeah, that's rough.
he just accepted it. He just is what it is. This
I mean,
person
what do you
is-
want him to do? Stone his child like in the Bible
Yeah,
or something?
yeah,
You want him to be
exactly.
like Abraham taking his child to be sacrificed now?
So that part of it, I think everybody can kind of meet in the middle and just understand it. But they're talking about somebody at the age of 4 that they're going to create an environment that helps them to go down a certain path. When the mind is developing, it's like, no, we're going to inception this kid with these ideas and try to normalize it in the kid's mind. We're going to try to override the nature to practically force them to become this thing that our ideology is wrapped around. It's like they're literally doing that, and she literally said it, and it's that's what prompted me to want to do this, because to even want to do this show, because it's a whole nother thing when the conversation used to be, will you accept your kid if they turn out to be gay? Now it's a situation where it's people are, in the name of this wokeness, influencing their children to be it. It's a whole nother shitstorm when that's happening.
Bernard, have you heard the "We'll Convert Your Children" song?
The what?
Oh fuck yeah! Oh fuck yeah!
Oh yeah, we'll
I got
do that
a
next.
little snippet of it in my computer. I'm trying to just chop it
All
up
right.
so I can hit it for you real quick.
But let me ask you this while you look that up. Their best argument to me has always been that, hey, people are born like that, and like I used to always say, if assembly line parts come off the assembly line, some of them going to be a little bit different. So you just take the bad parts, the parts that are different or non-conforming, you just take them and throw them away. Okay. You can't do that with human beings. You can't just throw them away. We can't just be like, the Spartans, that he look at a baby and be like, his head shaped funny, toss him over the cliff. Okay. Obviously that's not happening. Obviously that's not a thing. Obviously we're not going to do that. Some human, when in the
You know the
human
funny
being,
thing? Even
oh,
the Spartans were kind of gay too, so like it's not like they threw babies in the fucking woods, and like like history's so funny, bro.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that when I said it, but yeah, we just can't throw humans off a cliff, okay? In the human making factory, some humans are going to come off the assembly line a little different, but they're people. We have to acknowledge their humanity because they just came off the assembly line different. So that's really their best argument. That's their best argument when it comes to acceptance and all of that. But once they start saying that, I mean, right now they're practically acknowledging that, no, you aren't born that way. We can manipulate your mind at a young age and make you that way. That's essentially what she's saying. So now they can't even make their best argument anymore about being born a certain way. Once they start trying to, once they start going down the indoctrination route, then I think they lose their best argument for acceptance.
Do you mind taking a brief detour
Mhm.
because I want to show you this clip. Like it is very pertinent while we're at this particular junction in the conversation.
Mhm.
I have the screen share up if you're ready.
No, it's ready. I got it. It's up there.
Guys, I'm sorry it had to be this way, but this is just how it is. I didn't make this. What Pac say? I was given this world. I didn't make it.
As we celebrate Pride on the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you. You think we're sinful?
No,
You
let it
fight
normal
against
speed.
our rights.
Oh.
You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. Your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct.
I want you to look into this man's eyes, right? This man wants your children. That's what his eyes like. You know how the eyes are the windows to your soul? I looked into his soul and I found out he wants your children.
We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. Quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco, make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children, we'll make them tolerant and fair.
Let's skip ahead to the wall of pedos.
We're coming for them. We're coming for your children.
What the?
We're
Come
coming for
on.
your children.
Don't blame me. I was given this world. I didn't make it.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't want to play too much of it because I got strike one time because I actually played the whole damn thing. Like I had I
This
had
is
to talk
copy?
about this.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead.
Well, it wasn't at first until people heard about it, and then they was like, "Wait, we got to do something. We got to cover our asses." Because, like, I shit you not, this is a wall of pedos. A lot of these
Yeah.
people have records.
Yeah. And whenever I do a show with you, it's always going to Patreon.
Like I shit you not, a lot of these people have done things to people's kids.
Man, how on earth
All right.
do you get people to just pull up and sing this? Oh man,
You gotta really love kids, bro. Like, don't you love kids? Well, you don't love kids like they love kids, but they really love kids.
Mm.
Oh yeah. So
Oh man,
detour over. Back to the regularly scheduled program.
man. All right, I just backed up a little bit where we were at. He was basically saying that this kid who decided they wanted to be non-binary, non-gender identified, they, them, whatever the hell. The kid decided at 4, and he's basically saying, you decided that, you pushed that on him, you walked him down that yellow brick, that that yellow, I was going to give a different color for that yellow brick road. You walked him down that path, or her or them down that path. And she basically conceded the point that it's no different from a kid grow up, even if it's not LeBron James' biological child. If a kid grows up in LeBron James' house, he's probably going to pick up a basketball from time to time. Okay, so this kid growing up in the house with 3 non-gender binary conforming women who we think were all born women. I'm not sure. I don't think she exactly said. She sounded like she was a little confused about it. Yeah, a child growing up in that environment. Yeah, they're going to be they're going to be likely or like likely to go down that path, just like somebody growing up. If their dad is a concert pianist, they're going to be likely to sit at that piano and learn to play, and probably be playing Beethoven by the time that they're 6. And so our kid is like some queer savant when it comes to this. They're like the kid that's playing Beethoven at 6.
The queer savant.
Yeah.
What are you, an advanced homosexual at 5? What does that mean? You see, like this whole world makes you start thinking about the absurd. Like you can't think about it in normal terms. Everything has to go to the absurd. Like a fucking gay savant. What the hell?
He knew at 1.5 years old that he was
That's literally what they're telling you, though. That's really what she's trying to get across. Like, my kid knew from 4 they were just LGBT, whatever. Like, oh, hell, oh, man. Now, I understand, like, and it's fucked up, but, the world is a fucked up place. But I'm beginning to understand, like, Muslims and rooftops now. And, like, there's a certain baseline reality that they're just trying to avoid. And, like, rooftops is the easiest thing for them to do. They're not a high-tech people all the time, So a rooftop is, like, the easiest way to handle that.
All right, real quick. Let me dig into these super chats real quick before I got them all. Every super chat that I saw, I think I saw them all. I did hit the star button, but woke. Did I say woke quill? That's funny. He said depression is high in this community because telling people their truth surpasses reality will fail. Once OBJ truth hits, then the meds start. I mean, it don't shock me that depression would be high in that. Like that's not shocking at all.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Yeah. F Holiday in the building. He says, if a legit war hasn't been fought for your rights, S plus FU. What does that mean? Shut the F up, or fight for it like everyone else. Pronoun D's. Okay. Man, y'all be killing me with that. Okay, Perfect Storm in the building. He says all this gender nonsense is for the gay to pretend that they are hetero. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't look like they pretending shit. Well, I mean, yeah, they are, but that's a whole other thing. But I don't think they're pretending that they hetero.
What he's meaning. They want to be baseline. They want to be what normal is instead of hetero.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Evie Now in the building says, in the medical profession, we stick to the M/F identification. I don't know what that is on your ID. Oh, the male-female identification on your ID until your ID changes. You're going to be treated as the gender you were assigned by nature. Well, okay, if you're talking about the medical profession, they have to do that. It would be malpractice. I mean, they have to go by your biology. Okay,
so technically I think you might be right, but pretty soon you will be forced. Like, all right, you cannot misgender a person in some places. Like, there are laws, I think in New York City too, like there are laws on the books about misgendering. So medical professionals have at times been put like in a box, and I think some people have been sued essentially from being referred. Like, all right, there was a story just popped up recently. I think it was in the UK, so it's a little bit different, but a man is suing a hospital because he gave birth and the doctors called him a mom. Yeah, that's literally how the story reads.
Whoa.
And so now this new mother/father is suing the hospital for misgendering. So the medical profession will crumble. And this is just like all this sexual dynamic stuff. It's like weird and creepy in its own right. But this is only one aspect of, the woke world, right? So when we get into medicine, wokeness is infecting medicine already. Just the fact that doctors aren't standing up against this weird transsexual reality stuff should tell you something about, like I said, science is dying, my dude. And I use this as a marker to point out that, because just recently there was a story going around, actually several stories. This it wasn't just a one-off thing, but with COVID, right? They are basically race rationing COVID medicines.
What do you mean by race rationing?
So several white people have done their own like videos. I actually put the video up on my channel a couple months back, and then a story just popped up recently a couple weeks ago where some hospitals have like basically a triage. So if you go in for COVID, they won't give you like certain medicines unless you fit certain criteria. Actually, Black, brown, indigenous, because according to them, Black, brown, and indigenous people are more likely to die from COVID. So they're saving the drugs for us. Now, if you want the drugs to be saved for Black people, if you think that's good, listen, I don't want to fight you on that battle right now, but I'm just saying that they're bringing wokeness to medicine. So, science is slowly dying, bro.
RX-O in the building says, people forget that there must be a balance. Too many ideas can be just as bad as having zero ideas and cause too much confusion. The water cycle is the water cycle. Leave it alone. LOL. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. And y'all definitely hit that like button. Definitely hit the like button. As you see RM posting it right there, make sure you hit the like button. All right, we about to dig into a little bit more of this.
Because living in an LGBT family, they have met people of different gender expressions and have been safe to explore their own gender, which has
living in an LGBT environment, they have met people of other gender expressions. They've been safe to explore theirs. When it comes to trans, we're talking they, them pronouns and the whole works with that. We're talking about like a percent of a percent, like maybe like I think it was like 0.2 of 1%, like a very, very small percentage. So the odds that your kid would just happen to be it naturally, would be one of the ones that just happen to be it naturally, and you just happen to have this environment, this safe, friendly environment for them to feel comfortable exploring what they naturally were. Again, they're getting rid of the natural argument and saying that no, we're out to influence and indoctrinate. Like this is no other way around that.
Has led them to a personal discovery.
Does
that mean that I forced them? No, of course not.
Isn't this just utterly exhausting, trying to keep up with all this? I mean, a lot of it, I've got no problem with you leading any life you like. Honestly, I haven't. You're a fully grown adult.
Agreed 100%.
Adult. You want to call yourself they and non-binary, whatever it is. I have total respect for your rights, frankly, to do whatever you want to do. My issue is what's happening with the kids in your household and whether actually it's all being driven by the adults in the home and not these children. I mean, little Sparrow.
Let me ask you a question. Can we stop for a second? What is a gay right? Like, you've heard the phrase gay rights before, right? Gays have rights, right? Mm-hmm. So what is a gay right? I'm dying to know. Like, I need a concrete answer to that question. What literally is a gay right?
The only thing that the only way that you could say that, I mean, it sounds funny. I'm about to say the only way that you could say that a right is gay, like a right can be gay, but no, the only way you could say that is if it's something that other people can do that they can't do. And so I think when they weren't able to get married, they were fighting for the right to get married, thus fighting for gay rights. I think that made sense. But every other everything else that they're fighting for and putting it under the name gay rights, I don't think that all lines up. That's the best I got.
Well, because like you see how difficult the concept is if you actually try to define it, but we're not even like allowed to stop and think about it. We're just sort of encouraged to accept it. Like, all right, they're gays. The gays need rights. All right, well, what right does a gay person need? Like, I don't understand the very need for gay rights. So, like, when Pierce is talking about like being accepting of it, and this is why I'm like, no, why are we even accepting of it? Like convince me why I should accept. Like tell me what a gay right is and how we all benefit from a gay right. And that's why like the stuff is so frustrating just to me personally because I need things to make sense. I like order. I like things to have rigid lines and well-defined definitions and stuff. And this stuff just doesn't make sense. It's like we're just told it's like a religion basically. We're told to just have faith in the principle that doesn't actually add up to basic reality.
Right. Right.
Boy, I'm not these children. I mean, Little Sparrow, we don't even know if Little Sparrow is a girl or boy, and you say we now have to call Sparrow they. And Hazel, what does Hazel call Sparrow?
Their baby sibling.
Their baby, so she literally says, "Good morning, baby sibling."
Well, usually by name, like "Good morning, Sparrow." But when someone asks, who is that, you say, "My baby sibling." Yeah.
And does Hazel call Sparrow they?
Yes.
They. So she says, "They, can I play a game with you?" They.
Well, not when talking to them. When talking to them, they would say you. Like, would you like to share a cookie with me, Sparrow? And Sparrow would.
This is confusing. So I understand why he's asking what sounds like a stupid question because it is legitimately confusing. But he is asking a stupid question. I mean, you don't say, "Hey, they, will you come here?" It's really you're using the only time you refer to somebody as a he or a she if you're talking to somebody else about somebody else. Like if I was telling Game Changer something that you said, I would say if he knew I was talking about you, I would be like, yeah, he said this, So but it's confusing as hell when you throw in that they.
You ever watched the movie 1984?
1984. That's no, I haven't.
Okay, so the famous
Is it a
novel
science fiction movie?
Yes. It's
okay.
dystopian future kind of thing.
Yeah, the 2001 was is it similar to that or no?
Absolutely not. You talking about I think Space Odyssey's 2001 something
Yeah.
Which was like a little bit of a all right, but that was a completely different movie. I actually don't know the Space Odyssey one, but 1984, right? There's a concept in 1984 called Newspeak, where basically it's like the state started to create new language and impose language on people as a way of thought control. And so what you're witnessing here is essentially Newspeak being born. This is like a form of thought control being established. So, when I asked about 1984, and you kind of have to immerse yourself a little bit into some of the science fiction classics to get to have a sort of like baseline way of framing this future, because a lot of the writers like Aldous Huxley and George Orwell especially, they were writing these stories with a great prophetic eye for the future, and they could tell by what was going on in their day, by the writings of like the Marxist and communist thought leaders of their day, they could see exactly where the future was headed. So when you get into these old science fiction classics, 1984, A Brave New World, I mean, even a lot of our dystopian movies, they kind of touch on these concepts too, but they hit right at a lot of key things with like the destruction of the family, the suppression of thought, the imposition of language, and not just language that actually means something, but the imposition of essentially a language that obscures reality. Like a lot of this stuff was already predicted. So when you read these books and you watch these old movies, you can kind of instantly see what's really happening, and you can connect the threads a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Let's roll it a little bit. It's getting close. I'll probably put the link in the chat. Well, no, I suggested in the email if you had some woke clips that you wanted to put up here, or we can open it
Absolutely.
up. Okay,
I got a bunch, but I'll only use a handful so we can open up the panel a little bit. But I
right.
do have some case studies.
Okay, cool. I'll roll a little bit more of this. Fair use.
Would, of course, because they're a baby.
But if I'm in the room and I want to have a cookie and I ask Hazel, can I have a cookie? And she says yes, I'll just ask they, right? Sparrow. Is that how it works?
Them.
I'll ask them.
Ask them.
Yeah, you would say, so Hazel might say, I'll ask them if they want to share.
Here's what I don't get though, because they and them are plural words. And I've always struggled with this. I don't understand why in this non-binary world you would take a plural word like them or they to describe a singular entity. It doesn't make any. I'm a grammatical purist. I don't really understand from a grammatical point of view
totally reasonable.
why you would call people by plural titles.
Well, they actually has a history of being used as a singular pronoun as well as a plural pronoun. Back, hundreds of years ago, 14th century, 1700s, people used they singularly as well. But yeah, in common usage, they does have a plural connotation. We are just working within the limited framework of the pronouns available to us in English.
Yeah.
There are
Ari-
people who use invented pronouns, but those sometimes can be difficult for people to navigate.
Ari,
All right. So I mean, there it is. When you was talking about that 1984 movie, I didn't see the movie, but she literally said that inventing a pronoun is a thing.
I'm telling you, it's worth your time, and I suggest it to anyone listening. Take out, a Sunday afternoon. Hell, if you got a wife, girlfriend, whatever, watch it together. Because it's a great movie, and it's one of these things where it's not crazy violence, not a shoot 'em up, bang bang kind of thing. It's very psychologically intimidating. And I mean that it's psychologically intimidating. Where there's a particular scene that is very famous where you know how this phrase now 2 + 2 = 5, it kind of popped up recently in our in society. It actually is based out of a line from a scene from 1984 where the protagonist was basically being tortured for having thought crimes, and his torturer had him on a table, tied down, getting electrocuted and whatnot. And he was holding up his fingers, and he asked the man, how many fingers am I holding up? And he's holding up 4 fingers, and you can see it clearly how many fingers I'm holding up. And he says 4, and he's holding up the 4 fingers, and the guy says 4, and he hits him with the electricity. And when he asked him, well, how many fingers am I? Just tell me what to say. And the guy's like, listen, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's nothing at all.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
Wow. All right. Now you see you got some clips on deck here from I don't know. I'll let you set up what this is, but this is where
this is
black folks go to buying into our, go ahead.
I'm gonna ease us into the black people stuff now, because this is actually kind of funny. It's sad because she's cute.
The economy and COVID-19, a lot is riding on dividing. Register and vote for Biden, yeah, vote, yeah. It's time to hit the polls and cast your votes, yeah. Don't let nothing discourage you from going. Don't miss your opportunity to vote, yeah. Don't make no mistakes, just vote for Biden, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is why he won right here. This song right here is why he won.
I want to know when her album come out. I mean, I don't care for the lyrics, but man, I'm feeling it, man.
I know.
I was into that.
You see, and this is how we lose, bro. Hold the fucking line, Bernard. You gotta hold the line. Never trust a big butt and a smile. That girl is poison.
I'm getting wrapped in by the song, man. They're getting me.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what to do. Remember Thursday day. Vote for Biden or we going back to being slaves. Oh yeah.
Did you catch it?
Oh, whoa,
Vote
whoa.
for Biden or we going back to being slaves. Vote for Biden or we going back to being slaves. Vote for Biden or we going back to being slaves. Oh yeah.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on, push pause.
Yeah.
Push pause. Now I must say, okay, get your booty to the pole didn't do it for me, but I can work with this. I can work with this.
You see, and this is how he got. This is why we lose, bro. This is why we can't have nice things. It's too fucking woke. We just fucking we too woke for our own good. But you know, this is just a we're gonna ease our way into the valley of crazy black shit. Cause all right, let's get this next guy up. All right, who was I listening to? Something SKC was playing when he was talking about how like feminists. It was a clip from a specific woman, and she was talking about how like black women couldn't really openly like march against black men to gain like power and whatnot, so they had to make allies with other groups. And here's some allyship for you.
Mm-hmm. When we come together, we shake the world.
White people don't know this kind of impact. Y'all just don't know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make this a race thing, but I do. Because black.
This is also why I'm suspect of all the pro-black race war arguments, because like I don't want to be in this army, bro.
Sorry. I don't mean to make this a race thing, but I do. Because black women are sickening, bitch. They sickening. They late. Because just when you think you know.
All right, now
I couldn't make out any words of what was being said.
No, he was just saying black women is the shit. Black women is God, basically. So and the black woman is God is one of those like super woke black concepts that is actually like old. That shit goes back at least like 20, 30 years by now. If not older, because it comes out of like the whole NOI philosophy in that world, so maybe even older than 30 years by now. But that whole black woman is God thing, and then they're allies, especially like the black women allyship with the whole gay community, like that place, that whole connection just it bugs me. This is why, like I said, I have very grave suspicions about a lot of this race warring that's going on right now, because these race soldiers ain't the race soldiers of the 60s, put it that way. These ain't the old Black Panthers.
Well, no, they jumping in with everybody else stuff. So no, they're literally not. It's like it's funny, a lot of them don't even realize it. It's some that don't realize it, but they vote on board with the first clip. Well, really with all these clips, everything that you just played, but more specifically especially that that first clip that I played. They don't realize they voting on board with that cause. Then they also on board with the chick that was, even though she was singing good, that whole mindless zombie aspect of that. They're rocking with that. It's like they're rocking with any and everything. The whole damn, sorry. Losing my voice on this one. But yeah, it's the people who fighting for the race, a lot of them. I mean, there's some of them that separate the stuff, but it's a lot of them that they don't even understand the concept of. They think the liberals are on their side. This is a Roland Martin crew. They think the liberals are on their side, so they're going to fight in way raise their sword and shield for whatever liberal woke thing is, because we gotta be okay with it. We gotta be down with it, because given our history, we can't be the ones that participate in any type of not including somebody. So we got to be on board with everything, all full inclusion and everything. But the stuff that they want, that they fighting for, that they say we need, that ain't really being fought for. They not fighting for that. But anyway.
So earlier in the clip, I mean, in the show, you started out with the breakdown of that whole woman and the babies and that weird family and all that stuff, right? So we like to think that, you know, black folk, we got too much sense for that. And Asada Muhammad is actually correct. I slightly misspoke when I said that. Technically, it's coming from a branch off group of the NOI. NOI specifically does not say the black woman is God. But yeah, there's this like 5%ers, the nation of gods and earths, all that stuff. That's really where that comes from.
Shout out to Asada Muhammad. Appreciate the super chat. The NOI's mantra is black man is God, not the woman. I didn't exactly know that. That's interesting. I honestly didn't exactly.
That is actually a point of contention between the two groups, but you know, you got to go down the rabbit hole to even get to this bizarre stuff. But yeah, that whole thing about like the NOI actually had a lot of impact on black culture. You know, you wouldn't necessarily see it that way, but a lot of how we relate to like America on the whole is very much related to like that NOI culture and how the NOI came to be, all that, you know, real black history stuff. Like, and there's a little bit of truth that, you know, a lot of these things are built on kernels of truth, but most people have no idea how like heavy an impact that really did have on the black psyche in America.
Enigma in the building says, "Go woke or go broke." Yeah. Shout out to the Matrix Resurrections. Anyway.
All right, now let me get back to the pronoun game here. Shout out to the black ones, y'all. This is one of your girls. You got to get your girl.
Can't people just be cool? Like if someone goes, "Oh, I go by they them pronouns," why can't you just be Gucci? Why does it always have to be some shit? Hi, I go by he, him, she, her, they, them, whatever the fuck. I ain't gonna call you that. Why? Why can't you just chill? Why can't you just be Gucci? Why can't you just? Oh, okay. Why? What does it take? What the fuck does it take out of you? Nothing.
Why did it look like a goddamn Jason Bourne fight with the camera all over the damn place?
See, now listen, Bernard, you're in the game now, so you understand what it takes to like do the edits and the cuts. Think about the personal energy she had to invest in this shit. How many times did she stop, start, do it over, cut some shit out, do some other shit, add a new scene to it? Like, you really put a lot of energy into this shit here. Yeah.
My name is Rachel. I go by he, him. Oh, I have a problem with that. Shut the fuck up. Why? Is it affecting you? Why? Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Is it affecting you? Why can't you call Rachel he, him? Like why you acting like it costs money? It's free to be cool. It's free to be decent. You just said, oh, Rachel wants to be he, him. Okay, hi, Rachel. Hi. Okay, bro. Why are you embarrassing your lineage? Fuck. I don't understand like why people.
Hold on, is she mocking Africans?
Okay, bro. Why are you embarrassing your lineage? Fuck, Rachel. Okay, bro. Why are you embarrassing your lineage? Fuck.
Oh, you mad at your daddy?
She didn't. Did she start out with an accent that sounded like it was from somewhere in Africa?
No, but that one piece right there, I'm like, did you just suddenly drop an African accent? Like, yeah, did I get a glimpse into your life just now?
Yeah.
I'll run that back a few more seconds.
Be decent. You said, oh, Rachel wants to be him. Okay, hi, Rachel. Hi. Okay, bro. Why are you embarrassing your lineage? Fuck. I don't understand like why people act like it's like so fucking hard. Okay, all you have to do is just push air out of your lungs and make it into a shape of a word. Oh, he wants to go by he. Easy. Like it's not that fucking hard.
Listen, if you happen to know a black woman who's suffering from wokeness right now, we're going to drop an 800 number in the chat. Get your friends some help.
That was bad. That was bad. She said that she came off. I wonder do she post stuff regularly and is it that crazy? And does that actually draw an audience? I'm really curious about that.
So you're going to make me track this woman down on TikTok. I could probably find her. I'd have to pull back up and snatch her name off the screen somewhere.
Oh, you be on TikTok digging into these archives.
I don't be on TikTok, but I have a TikTok account because it helps to actually be able to track stuff down. Like I haven't posted or created anything there, but yeah, I do from time to time search TikTok. Like that's really the new frontier of like the crazy bitches.
Yeah.
Move like
Let me see. Oh, okay.
A
I
lot of
got it
the
up already.
yeah, it's up.
So this one right here. All right, now this is a
I
little
was just
bit.
about to say I thought that was Stacey. You couldn't see her name at first, but I was like, that looked like Stacey Abrams. But yeah, that's
Now you
Oh, is
you were
that? Yeah,
talking
that's her.
about yeah, that's definitely her. It's gonna be all about her in a second, and well you're gonna give your opinion obviously, but I want to say this before we got started. You mentioned like you're reaching out to SKC, and SKC and I both have kind of gone back and forth with different people in the manosphere over critical race theory
Mm-hmm.
and this argument that one, it's a bullshit concept pushed by bullshit people to produce bullshit goals. That's just my general take on critical race theory. And then two, it has no business in schools. And three, the people who are saying that it doesn't exist or it's not in schools are just completely lying at this point. They're just like basically full of shit. And the trick is this: nobody in the school is going to sit down and tell the kids, okay, today is critical race theory day. Here's CRT lesson number 1. And tomorrow we're going to have a test on the CRT lessons I gave you. Like, that's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
How it works is like this: we're going to introduce new ideas and new heroes and tell your kids who to worship.
Move Like Stacy by Key, Woke Kindergarten. She spoke like Fanny. She learned like Marion. She taught like Septima. She ran like Shirley.
So what's really happening, and this is very blatant, we're tying historical figures to modern political movements, and we're applying this to children. And so you have to wonder, what is the actual goal of tying a specific political narrative to your children's education?
Yeah.
She
Go ahead.
organized like Ella. She stood like Black women and moved a whole nation. Thank you, Stacey Abrams, and to all the organizers across the nation. Woke Kindergarten is forever indebted to your work. We wish you safety and rest.
Now, when did Stacey Abrams become in league with legit heroes?
Yeah. That was okay. That's a textbook example, and I'll be talking about all the time how a major media platform can influence. It can essentially indoctrinate people. I always say you can inception people with ideas. They're that is an attempt to inception a bunch of kids with the notion, the idea that Stacey Abrams is somebody who should be looked at and viewed in the same light of, that the people that they learn about in history, the great figures that they've learned about through history, that yes, she's to be viewed like that. We have a living essentially a living legend here that 14 years later, make sure you're voting for, so yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a tactic. It's a hell of a tactic. I mean, I gotta give it to that. As far as media, branding, marketing, they did the damn thing. They did it. They like to put that to like they're presenting that to kindergarten to basically to kids. And you said that, man, what did you say? Oh, well, make the connection. You said they don't teach that That's funny. Kaidu said, "Oh, I thought she died." They was talking about her in the past tense. Yeah, yeah. They was talking about her in the past tense as if she's some historical figure that died. That's literally how they was talking about her. So that's interesting. But you had made the connection between that and critical race theory. How they don't just
Yeah.
say we're now okay, now put away your math book, now open your critical race theory book. We're on chapter 17 and we're going to be studying that. They don't do it like that. So make the connection. How does that connect in terms of critical race theory?
Well, basically the idea is to get you to one, emotionally identify with certain ideas and concepts, as opposed to like make logical practical connections that can exist on their own without your emotional attachments. And they inception these ideas into children basically, and the game is to get you to think in a certain kind of way so that later on in life you will act in a certain kind of way, basically to create more activists. And I mean, look,
yeah,
on the one hand, if you feel like black people have a particular struggle and you want to join the struggle and help the cause and whatever, I don't necessarily want to fight you on that per se. But my issue with a lot of this way of educating the children and this stuff as educational material, right? Can you build a house with like ethnic studies material? Like, is graduating through this course gonna teach you how to start a business or how to how to conduct yourself in the work environment? Like, I don't know how much valuable time we should devote to every racial grievance. I'm not completely against, and like they say, teach the history. Like, fine, things did happen and there are stories to be told, there are victims to be acknowledged, there are winners and losers. Let's be completely honest about it. But how much time should we spend teaching this shit to middle school or elementary school kids? Let the high school and college kids learn about this stuff.
Well, when I was this was last night, and I was on Lapeef on JB's show on there. I was on Lapeef, and so one of the girls that was on there, the girl that was on there, that's part of the show. She basically was saying, I forgot what she's going to school for. She's some high level degree that she's pursuing or whatever. But I think she's also working in the school system. And like her job, and I'm going to botch it, but I'm going to get it close enough to right, is that when there's issues and problems with the kids or whatever, we're talking about black kids, like they basically hire somebody to come in, almost like some diversity training, basically, with the teachers, the kids, and start, basically. And she said one thing that they do teach and explain is like the historical trauma. And I was like, wait, what do you mean historical trauma? I was like, how far back did this history go? And she acknowledged that, yeah, it can go all the way back to slavery, because they believe that explaining and teaching, teachers and students about this historical trauma could help shed light on the things that are causing the problems today. Now, she did acknowledge that she just thinks that the children need to just be taught to behave better. I forgot exactly how she worded it. So it's like it sounded like she was 50-50 on whether or not what they were having her do was helping versus what she actually thought would legitimately help, like better parenting and more structure for the kids, and or the basic stuff that work.
I want to come back to the elf, because what you're talking about reminded me of something, and this guy is now our reality. I'm sorry to cut you off. Please continue. I just want to jump to something different.
Oh, I see where you're going with it. Yeah, I see where you're going. but yeah, it's so it's funny how they say, oh, critical race theory is not taught in school, but if she's going in there and part of her job is almost like, how on jobs, don't know if you ever worked a job where they had diversity training and stuff like that. They'll bring somebody in to talk about diversity and all of that stuff. That's what it sounded like her job essentially was. But talking to children and talking to the teachers and basically making sure that all the historical trauma and ducks were in a row and everybody understood everything about the history and why these particular group of kids are having this particular problem and relating with this and relating with that, and the disconnect between teacher and student because of historical trauma and that was an example where I wasn't thinking critical race theory when I was hearing her saying it, but I'm like, she's almost like she's hired in there to essentially do critical race theory. I don't know how else to explain it. I didn't want to take over the show and just beat the point home. So I asked her a question, then one follow-up question, and then I let it go. But yeah, that's kind of what was going on.
So it's like I don't want to be that guy, but I know exactly what you're doing, lady. And like the whole thing reminded me of this guy because it's like, you know, we used to act as a people. We all agreed this guy was a joke. We used to all laugh at this guy. We had relatives, we had friends and family members, close, dear friends that were this fucking guy. And now this guy is writing the rules at your law schools, at your medical schools, at colleges across the country.
Internalize the flatulation of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection.
Like, and this is what drives me crazy because we used to laugh at these niggas and now we give these niggas power. We let these niggas teach the kids, bro. Like, this is really what happened. This type of people, and obviously like Damon Wayans is doing a caricature, but that is really what happened. This guy is now a professor and your kids have to believe what he's saying in order to get a job in the real world.
If I may retain my liquids here for one moment, I'd like to continue the redundance of my quote unquote intestinal tract. See, because to preclude on the issue of world domination would only circumcise the revelation that reflects the aphrodisiac symptoms.
All right, I'm not going to go too deep in it, but you get, like, this is the guy. And we used to all agree that these people were to be laughed at. You know, not you know, we're not going to kick you out the family, but like, come on, bro. We know this shit is all cap. And because
he was throwing those words around not as rapid fire fast, but it was sounding like Michael Eric Dyson. I ain't gonna even lie.
Bro, the hip hop fucking professor, exactly. And now because we stopped laughing at those guys, we got these people.
All right, hold on.
Me to pick one of.
Sorry, let me start that up. Start that over for you.
So I'm applying for a job, right? And it's time for me to pick one of the 4 genders. Female, I do not wish to disclose. Male, or X, non-binary, Canada only. If only I was Canadian.
Black people are fucking elves now, bro. I never thought I would live to see the day. How's that for diversity? This is the first black elf. You know, we might get the first black Supreme Court judge, and that's fine, but god damn it, we got a black woman elf. That is progress right there. We made it.
Right. Oh man.
But she really is an elf though, with like stars for eyebrows.
I was looking at that. I thought I was seeing it incorrectly, but yeah, those are stars for eyebrows. Why?
Magic.
I don't even know what to say about that. She just gonna get that. Why put on the elf filter? Assuming she didn't have surgery on her ears, but why put on an elf filter to talk about that? It's just goofiness.
No, I don't think that's a filter.
You don't think so?
This video again.
You don't think that's a filter?
Job, right? And it's time for me to pick one of the 4.
That could be some kind of prosthetic or something, but I don't know if it's a filter. I don't. I'm not getting any.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see if she turned to the side. Filters don't
Yeah,
work
'cause
when you
I'm
turn to
not
the
getting
side.
any like digital glitchiness. Like normally with filters, you would see some kind of weird digital effects to it, but when it focuses right in on her, it just sort of looks like her weird elf ears. So maybe it's something prosthetic about it because people are doing that kind of stuff. Like, bro, no, that is not a filter.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
I
you're
wonder,
right.
can you get your ears stretched? Is ear stretching a thing? You're gonna make me look up ear stretching.
I think it's a thing for I think like the bottom part of the earlobe. That's how people be doing that one weird stuff.
The gauging, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the ears can stretch, but I don't know if that top part of your ear can stretch. So yeah, I think you gotta
Yeah.
have some kind of something going on to get that to play out like that. Oh man.
All right. This
That
is
was
this is the last piece I got for you right here. But this, oh man. I don't think this lady is a teacher anymore. I think she moved up to like administration by now. But yeah, she is definitely in charge of some young minds out there. So this wokeness in Black America is really taking over everything. And like, I listen to there's on Twitter, right? They have this thing called Spaces, where it's essentially like YouTube for Twitter. There's no video sharing, but people are just up having conversations, and you can have a panel with a couple of guests and whatnot. And the young Black people on Twitter are very woke, very angry, and very gay too. And not all, but there's a distinct like gayness about young Black Twitter. And I just don't see a lot of positivity. Like I don't see a lot of good outcomes coming from like woke Blackness. But let me get to this clip right here. So this lady, let me actually just pull this down for a sec. What is her title here? The new chair at Gwinnett Schools. Not sure exactly where Gwinnett Schools is. Oh wow, isn't that cute? Look at that little star. I think that is a Star of David on her chest. Wow, I am so not going to touch that. Wow, why is it the Star of David? You know what? Actually, I should mute this. The music is always going to trip you up. I hate TikTok. They always using people's music on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, they're saying Gwinnett is in Atlanta. Yeah, this makes sense. This looks like an ATL bitch. Oh my God.
What the hell is she doing?
She is fighting white supremacy, bro. Can't you tell? She is giving it up for white supremacy right now. Look, she got her wings.
That's not seriously what she's before. Oh damn. Oh.
You calling me a liar while she's waving the Black Lives Matter flag?
I thought you were making it up. I thought you were making it up, but now I
ridiculousness.
Yeah, what up, Ricky?
What's going on? That's just straight up ridiculousness, man.
Oh man, play a little more. So yeah,
and look, now she's trying to get one of you dudes to thirst trap.
I was just about to say I was like, hey, she cleaned herself up a little bit right there. She looking good right there.
bro, hold the line, bro. Come on, see.
Oh no, I'll acknowledge if a chick look good, but I ain't about to go crazy. I ain't about to go get adopt her ideology and views. That's where dudes go wrong. You could acknowledge some weird chick online. Okay, she cute, but I'm not about to cape for her ideology. That's a different thing.
No, but like this is kind of how it happens though, right? Like this is how the thirst trap gets you. Next thing you know, she's reading to you out of her books, trying to get you to have conversations about the feminine goddess and whatnot. She
And
buying
then
you little
you
crystals for necklaces and shit.
and then you
Hey,
end
what's
up
wrong with
then,
crystals?
and then next thing you know, you in a multi-partner relationship with her and another guy. and
And another
then
woman at that.
no, just her and another guy. That's just you got to share her because she woke. She don't, yeah.
Yeah, because what is it? Monogamy is a Western world thing by white supremacy.
Yo, oh my God. That whole concept right there is like, I every now and then I'm tempted to just give it to black people. It's like, fuck it. Yes. A nuclear family is for the white man. All right. You won, goddamn it. You can have it. Maybe black people are matriarchal because, like, why? I don't even want to fight you on that shit no more. If you telling me that being the man of the family is some white man shit, then fine. I will just be doing white man shit and you can do black people shit and we'll just have to live like this.
Yeah.
And notice how they don't have that same energy for Christianity, which they got from the white man as well. They still want to be Christians. They want to do everything, what's the word I'm looking for? They want to do everything that's diametrically opposed to Christianity while screaming that they love Jesus.
I mean, let's not even get started on the church.
Tyler we're saying reminded me of when damn it, I forgot her name. The black chick who used to be on ESPN. She always saying something crazy on Twitter. What's her name?
Jemele Hill.
Yeah, Jemele Hill. And I did some content on her a little while back where she had made a tweet that went something along the lines of, I have come to find that that black men are not at all interested in dismantling the patriarchy. They just want to get their piece of it. I'm sitting there listening like, yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah. Why aren't more black men interested in getting castrated? Come on. Let's get the unification. Not the
that's literally how they see
the
us.
unification.
That's literally how they see us. Bernard, I had one more clip and it kind of fits into the conversation we were just getting into about how they see black men. It is all of a piece. Now, this whole conversation about the families not needing men and black men not being, necessary for success and all that stuff. Like they're not pulling this out of their ass. There's a body of literature and a certain way of thinking that they're pulling this from. And it goes right up to the top as far as like black women in the media and whatnot. And this is Melissa Harris Perry. She used to be really big on MSNBC. I don't know what she's doing now.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents. Part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents. Part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's
when they say it takes a village to raise a kid, you didn't think they were literally going to take your kid and give it to the village.
My child is your child is my child. What the fuck kind of shit is this?
Okay, so like she had me at the first half.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of the people that advocates that children are not possessions, are not property. Children are people.
Mm-hmm.
And they are your ward. If you are their parents, they are your wards. It's your job to raise them to become responsible citizenry parts of society. That is not to say that they then belong to society. They are individual people, which is why I advocate against the corporal punishment system or types of punishment systems that way. Because if it's wrong for me to go upside each one of you gentlemen's head, probably should be wrong for me to go upside the child's head. Right? But this is taking that in a whole different direction, again, of a collectivist. God damn it. You know, I would rather agree with. Sometimes I would rather agree with the platypus than hood conservative. But god damn it, today.
Bro, listen, I am so happy to hear you say that. Victory. But like, nah, listen, I was given this world. I didn't make it, bro. This is just the way it is. And
yeah.
This is why, like, and I know you've heard me get into all these like vicious arguments and whatnot. And what it is, I think at the heart of it is this collectivist idea where like you are not allowed to break from the herd. And that would be fine if we were all cows and oxen or zebras or some shit like that. But, you know, people are meant to go off and explore their own thing. Sometimes you have to let people go off and do their own thing. And this notion that you can't do that because the collective comes before the individual. Like, one, that's threatening to me personally. And two, that goes counter to like, you know, this American ethos, like the individual is primary.
Mm-hmm. Well, real quick, Mr. Tobert in the building says, don't forget Joe Biden wanted to appoint the first black female Supreme Court judge, even though he opposed Clarence Thomas.
Yeah. He opposed another black woman too before he got
he did.
famous.
Yes, he did. It took 2 years for a confirmation because of his opposition, because of his filibustering. But you know, who cares about somebody's actual? Who cares about a politician's actual, you know, voting and track record of
He only want them in that position if he can benefit from it. Put it like that.
Yeah, the same DOJ is the ones that's not reopening the Emmett Till case, that made a backroom deal with the McMichaels. Yep, that Jim Crow Joe.
Joshua Swear says, hey Bernard, did you see that KS will be in the Future, like the rapper Future music video playing a therapist? It's on his IG. No, I did not see that. That's interesting.
Oh, that's dope though. That is a good look for KS. Wow. He's making it to the big leagues. He's stopping with the big dogs.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, that's news to me. I remember he did say he was going to be doing a shoot or something, some type of shoot, but I had no idea what it was, so I didn't know that he announced anything. But no, that's something. That's something right there. Yeah.
Okay.
Like we were talking about whether or not he's considered a B-list or A-list celebrity. I mean, he's I don't even know how to. I don't know.
High, but
I don't. You think that's high? B-list is high.
Yeah.
Was it? Well, we were talking about the weird way and how you define it nowadays, because somebody can be just as famous online as somebody who's been, you know, a co-star in big, you know, blockbuster movies. You know, so.
I get that, and I get that he holds an audience of, you know, somewhere in the realm of 10,000 on his program a night. He's got subscribers in the realm of 1 million, but again, is he even considered A-list on YouTube status, like at Social Blade?
Fair enough.
There's a lot of much. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just looking at this objectively. There are a lot of people with a lot of YouTubers with a whole hell of a lot larger following, you know, that aren't even Kathy Griffin level celebrities.
Well, you do have to be a black YouTuber with that many followers, and not get canceled. That says a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it doesn't. What I'm qualifying is the level of celebrity, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's on question here is the level of celebrity. Given that, you know, you would say A-list would be our man, I'm drawing a complete blank because I don't pay attention to these people enough. Will Smith.
I know. What is even A-list now?
You know, like a Will Smith.
I don't know what it is no more.
Or a Denzel Washington, right? We can consider them A-list celebrities.
Well, yeah, if Will Smith at his peak was A-list, then no, he's nowhere near that.
Now,
I mean,
now, what would we consider the perennial all-star of Saturday Night Live there? What's his name? Chubby Cheeks. What is his name?
I don't know.
Keenan and Kel?
Keenan. Right, where would we put him?
Whoa, well down below A. I don't
I would
even know if he was
definitely go
A-list when he was in his prime.
Right.
No, I
So
mean, but
now-
yeah,
now-
to be on Saturday Night Live that long, I think he said. I mean, I forgot how long it's been, but they said he's been on Saturday Night Live for longer than anybody has ever been on Saturday Night Live. But that could be a factor of him not having the talent to
he's
to rise
not ready for
above
prime time.
Saturday Night
He's
Live. So
not.
that would put him. That would make him B. Because if you're on Saturday Night Live and you're good, eventually somebody wants you to star in a movie, but nobody wants him to star in one.
So now let's question this. Now, where would you put Marquise Brownlee in reference to Keenan?
Right. And that's what I was thinking earlier, and it kind of turns the whole conversation on its ear, because the advent of the YouTube celebrity and just the social media celebrity in general, it's like guerrilla stardom versus the old school kind of stardom. Like you're coming up in a whole different kind of way, and it throws off the rankings, it skews everything. So it's hard to really even make these comparisons in the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
It is somewhat the same as trying to compare ABA basketball players with NBA basketball players.
Good point. But hold on real quick. Joshua Swear, though, thank you for that super chat that you just sent. And a story to tell in the building said this guy raised Umar Johnson. I think you're referring to the Damon Wayans character from In Living Color that we had on the screen. That is that sounds accurate, man. When I go back and listen to these folks, man, the Damon Wayans character was sounding a lot like the Michael Eric Dyson. He sounded a lot like him, just throwing words together, just out of nowhere. This is
why I pulled him up, because like black people are very familiar with this character, and then all of a sudden we act like we're not. Like, bro, we've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
Theo
Wap in the building. Hold on, real quick. Let me just try to run through the super chats real fast. Theo Wap in the building says yet another reason why I never date a ABW zero. Joshua Swear in here with another one. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Theo Wap in the building says, here are my last $2.36. Thank you for. I mean, we know it ain't your last $2, but thank you.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. If Theo Wap been in the building, he says, if Biden nominates the ABW to the Supreme Court, I just might actively campaign for the GOP instead of simply not voting. Libs have gone crazy. Shout out to E. Capone in the building. He says, I got 5 on a BR. Interesting show. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, go ahead. Let's roll through this clip. Shout out to E. Capone. Do appreciate it.
And just to piggyback off of what Theo was saying, like, and I try not to just rail on women or black women in general as all of my shows, but when I get into like this politics and the weirdness going on in politics, like, bro, there's always a black woman at the heart of this shit.
Kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
But yeah, that was just the whole clip right there. The kids belong to everybody.
Yeah. Well, what's your just give your breakdown, hood conservative. The kids belong to everybody. What's breakdown? What's completely wrong with that from your perspective? I know Judge Zilla said why he think that's wrong. He gave his reasons. I tend to believe y'all have different reasons. I don't think you exactly gave what was yours.
I don't like have much differing opinion than what Judge Zilla was saying as far as like how you raise children and corporal punishment is kind of a bad thing. Like we're in alignment with that, but as far as what she was saying, how like this whole men's kids thing's kind of like it bugs me, the relationship that you have with your kids under the system, because obviously like I made this comment years ago on your show that I'm not even sure your kids belong to you the way this shit actually works. And so this is just now doubling down on the concept that first men kind of had to accept the reality that your kids don't belong to you. And that's rough. Men will fight you on that. But now I'm watching women embrace the idea that your kids don't belong to you. And that's scary, Men will fight you over the concept of your kids don't belong to you, but women will give the fucking kids away. And I'm watching it happen slowly.
Yeah. Like, okay, it's my perception again. For first principles, children belong to themselves, right? Children belong to. It is your job as their ward, and in their minorness, to teach them, train them to be productive citizenry, right? And it's their choice from that point when they become adults to choose how to enter and how to participate with that society. They are not conscripted into said society. They have their choice to make their way, and they get to choose. And that with that choice comes the consequences of actions of whether to assimilate or not to assimilate. Consequences of their actions. They choose to follow the laws or they choose to not follow the laws. We're getting into some muddy territory here because it's looking like some of the laws are going to get a little bit funny here in a little while.
Real quick, Judge Bernard, could you grab that super chat before it disappears? There's a super chat waiting for you. I'm sorry, Judge.
Which one? Where? Hold on, me. Did it just pop up or is it leaving? How long ago was it up?
It says from Leon. Yeah, this one right here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Don't you think her opinion might benefit lower income Black communities? And you did not read my last super chat. LOL. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Go ahead. What you want to say to that one, conservative?
No, I'm sorry. I interrupted Judge. I want to just have that on the screen for a minute. I wanted to let Judge finish his thought.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was pretty much it. Please handle that, and for what you don't cover on that again, I can't find much argument with you today. You're not playing fair.
I'm not playing fair. Life isn't fair, man. But no, all right. So I want to read this out loud. Don't you think her opinion might benefit lower income Black communities? That argument right there, and this is what I mean about playing against your sympathies and your empathies, your sense of fair play and human decency and whatnot. Like the easy thing to do is to give poor people money, right? Or to be specific, to give Black women money. But that hasn't been benefiting us. We've been running that strategy for a while, and I would argue that the benefits don't really match up to the efforts. And ultimately, how does it benefit Black communities to forfeit control of their children? I'm going to need you to walk me through this idea slowly, because she was literally saying that it's time to embrace the idea that your children don't belong to you, they belong to the community. The community, for lack of a better word, is the state. When we say the community, Black people have this vision of, grandma and them. But in reality, it's going to be some woman with a clipboard who you'll never, ever see again. But today and today only, she's going to make decisions that alter the rest of your life. That's what the state really will do. And so I don't get how that setup benefits Black people.
I was trying to get to the point of just trying to even understand, and you explained it really well. How does that play out in all practicality? Your kids don't belong to you. I looked at it from the standpoint of essentially welfare, just like you said, just giving stuff to women with children. That's more or less what I just gathered from it. She's talking about society, the community, the whatever. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't grandma and them. It wasn't people within the community building things, community efforts to help foster, raise better children or nothing like that. No, it was basically, the only thing that I looked at it as is we're talking about tax dollars going to women with children. That's the only thing I gathered from that.
I can illustrate it if you like.
Go ahead.
All right. There are some, I don't know if anybody here, it's not usually a Black people thing. They want to get, they like to get new animals. They don't like to get rescue shelter animals.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big thing with Black people like the new puppies. Either they get them free or they'll pay for them, but not many like to go to the shelters or kennels to get them.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of shelters and kennels, and this is their policy now. They want to interview you, they want to interview the household, and they want to observe the household. before they approve you for the adoption of an animal. Understand, it's likely that this is a kill shelter. So if this animal doesn't go home with somebody, it's probably going to go in the incinerator. But they go through all of that to verify that you are going to be better for that animal than the kennel to the needle to the incinerator.
I
I
don't
think
know
the
what to say to
danger.
that, but
I think
oh,
the
go ahead.
danger is a little closer than even something like that, because like we're I know we're using the dogs almost as the animals almost as a metaphor here, but like, and you know, now we're getting into difficult territory again. But so if the government can tell you that you have to inject something into your children or else, who do the children belong to? It's really as simple as that. When they can force you to do things to your own children, and I mean, it's not as simple as that, obviously, but still, it kind of raises the question, like, who is sovereign? Am I ultimately sovereign over myself and my children, or does the government have ultimate say over myself and my children?
Freeman's on in the building. He says, "Well, I think you sent a Cash App as well, so thank you for that Cash App. At least I think that was you. Yeah, you did send a Cash App. I do appreciate that Cash App, and you just sent a $10 super chat. Says Strag moms have already given their children to the community. Women with 3 kids by 3 dudes on welfare is not raising children. The services she uses are raising them. Check Cash Apps too." I did, and absolutely thank you for that. But yeah, I know you make a good point there. But we got Free Zone Lou in the building. Thank you for your patience. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic. You can pick it up on whatever prompt you get come up. You can take it. Yeah, you can take it back wherever you want to. Go ahead.
Well, shout out to y'all. Shout out to Hood Server. Shout out to Bernard Riley. Shout out to you, man, for this particular subject. This is a good topic to discuss. That phrase "Big Daddy Government" hits way different now, don't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man, and it's interesting how they're manipulating language to basically make all words mean nothing. When y'all were talking about that video and the lady used the term anti-gender to describe a baby before a gender, before you give them a gender or they decide their gender, it's a complete cap, because just the meaning of the words, like the word anti means against. So technically it would be against gender. If they were going to use before gender, they would use pre-gender. So it's just an example of how they're using language to alter reality instead of expressing the reality that we have. And, you know, once you push it to this place where words don't mean anybody could be anything. You know, by all accounts, we could all identify as white now. We're all white men on this panel. You know what I'm saying? So go out there and tap into that privilege, that so-called privilege that's out there, because, you know, we could re-identify. And it's just amazing, you know, the way that they're able to just shift the language like that.
Haven't they been doing that since the beginning, right? Nobody's afraid of same-sex couples or same-sex sexual relations. Yet they've attached phobia on the back of it, as in arachnophobia, meaning fear of insects. You know,
right?
Men aren't afraid of those things. They're just not supportive of those things. That there's not a fear there, but
right.
It's the again, Hood Conservative brought up 1984, right? The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And they use these words are created to villainize, so that you feel and what you have to say means nothing. And like I said, it's been happening for the longest time. You know, I have trouble catching up with these manosphere words. Like I just learned a couple days ago about the phrase "pick me."
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And that it's just these weird villainizing words that basically put you in this box. Like just the fact that we use the word talking points, like something can be true, but it can be discounted because it's a so-called talking point.
I hate
And
that.
it could be completely true. I don't subscribe to that at all. Don't like if I'm talking to somebody and they say that's just your so-called, let's say, conservative talking point.
I was just about to throw it to conservative because I mean
I can't even. Yeah, man. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask him how many times have somebody actually said to you, "Well, you're just using a conservative talking point." How many times have somebody came at you with that?
Almost all the time, especially when it's like a black person having these debates. But and it reminds me, it is a graphic I should send you. It's hilarious. It's called like the reactionary black person bingo. And it's like all the catchphrases that you hear from the black people, you know, your mama black, racism, slavery. It's like all the catchphrases that you kind of hear from the pro-blacks just printed onto like a bingo chart. This shit is hilarious. So like now we play bingo sometimes when I watch these pro-black debates and whatnot.
That's funny.
And it's funny because, you know, to accuse like conservatives of having talking points, which are basically points based in logic and verifiable reality. Like, no, you guys are the ones with talking points. Like your mama black, that's a talking point. You know, systemic racism, talking point.
Well, okay. I was just kind of as you were thinking.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Hold your thought for a second, Judge. I did cut off Free Zone Lou because he took the words right out of my head when you start talking about how that the whole talking point or conservative talking point. So I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, Zilla, you got it, man. That was a perfect. Let it flow.
Okay, all right, cool. Go ahead, Judge.
Okay, just reversing course for just a little bit there. When we're coming with that the village thing, just thinking about that now, is that an acknowledgement that 40 years of woman-led households have failed?
It's a tacit acknowledgement. I think it's, you know, saying it without saying it. Because what parent who is like proud of their work wants to give their authority to the government?
I was just kind of thinking about that. Like, so you're saying this doesn't work, and and so again, assuming we're basing this upon empirical evidence, right? Right. Different example, but same methodology. War on drugs. We know the war on drugs has failed. I think we can all three acknowledge this. If in a town of 500 people you can still get whatever drug you want, war on drugs failed. If for its stated purpose, at least we'll put it that way. Its stated purpose, its publicized, its advertised purpose, it failed. Now, if it's subversive thing, that's a whole other argument, right? But its stated purpose, it failed. But we continue to plow money into it. If this is a tacit acknowledgement that the paradigm of the last 40 years have failed, are they also saying that the evolution into the last 40 years coming from a nuclear family failed? That's why they had to go to this. And so now it must be a village-led thing, which is actually circular because more of a neighborhood or societal effect has been affected throughout the years more than a nuclear family, right?
No, it can't be that. And I have to try kind of jump in and fill in this gap here, because to answer the question, no, it's just not true. And here's why. We are given this story that, you know, feminism was born essentially of a noble purpose, right? But that's the story that you tell to the common man. You know, if you let like the Rockefellers tell it, we wanted feminism so we can get women out the house and started taxing everybody instead of half the people.
Right.
And so ultimately the plan wasn't to produce a harmonious union between men and women. It was to produce a population indebted to the state.
Right.
And the best way to do that.
We could. Yeah.
Yeah, and the best
Mhm.
way to do that is to destroy the most natural social unit there is, which is the family unit. And so that's really ultimately what it was about. It was never about creating better people. It was about creating a more totalitarian state. And whether it's feminism or this LGBT stuff, it is all pushing things in an obvious direction.
Speaking of that, the reason I popped up here,
Oh, go ahead.
the woman of God. I have to correct you a bit on that, conservative. The woman is God thing. That woman of God thing came well before the 5%ers, 7%ers, whatever offshoot of the Nation of Islam came well. If you go back, you'll see plays from that you study in the humanities of specifically Dionysus. If you look at Dionysus and another play called Persephone, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering my lessons correctly, it's and those are probably based on other stories previous to them, right? That got turned into Roman plays. It's been a thing that's been out there for a very, very, very long time, to be argued in opposition to a patriarchal society.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I actually got into that whole field when I did a show titled, so I had a series of shows called Community Mythology. And I got into like some of these weird concepts that are just floating around Black America, Yakub, the Black woman is God. And I tried to get, as close as I could to the root of these things. And when I was doing the Black woman is God stuff, as I ended the show, I shifted somewhat to what you just talked about. So the Black woman is God is an extension of essentially mother goddess worship, which is ancient, probably the original worship is, feminine worship, right? So what I tied together, and it's kind of hilarious when you think about it. So if the Black woman is God, you are taking this from a period in time when we basically worship the vagina.
Yes.
And that's essentially what the Black woman is God is. And it's also back to a time where there was a thing called temple prostitutes. So during the time of the woman's godhood, you had to sell your box.
Oh,
so the
you're
Black
talking
woman
about
can
the
be
Egyptians,
God.
yeah.
Well, it wasn't just Egyptians. This was more of a regional thing of
Babylonians too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's Babylonian, what was the word for like the ancient Greek culture, like Athenian? But the old Greek culture, that whole world, like there was a lot of sex magic going on, basically.
Yeah.
So the Black woman is
because
God.
if you don't have science to explain how pregnancy works and happens, your alternative is imagination, i.e., magic.
Right,
and men having babies.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but that really there's a sort of a natural thread of to like why humanity would even play with a concept of like female divinity. Like it makes a certain sense when you think about the reproductive the magic that is birth. I mean, that is the one magical capability that women do possess that men kind of do not. Like we do not know what's going on in that belly, but somehow a baby comes out. I could totally see how a cult gets built around some shit like that for guys who don't have microscopes and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like worship the sun or the moon. Yeah.
So then my question becomes, because Hood, you did do a live the other day about how they're basically making synthetic wombs, and that's becoming more of a mainstream kind of thing.
You can get a baby in a bag.
Yeah, so if you can get a baby in a bag now, and the womb of the mother becomes no longer necessary, what happens to this whole woman is God divinity, female divinity kind of mindset? Is that there's tend to wither away from that?
No one is God if the state is God, and the state is making all the babies. That's really ultimately what I think is going to happen with that baby in the bag thing. The government's just going to make people.
So if you can tell, to make sure I understand that right, because I know I be late on some of this stuff. So she can get her eggs taken out, put I'm sure it's more sciencey lingo to it, but essentially put her eggs in a bag, and then his semen get I guess shot into the bag, then zip tie it or whatever, and then and then a baby starts growing out. Like, I mean, is that what we're talking about?
Yes, but you were also forgetting the sexy music.
Well, I'm going to show you something real quick, Bernard. Right now, at present stage,
that Kenny G, while the baby's blowing.
And a twist tie. Somebody's gonna come with a turkey baster.
Yo, you sound like Chef from South Park right now. Oh my god.
Oh shit! Hold on, wait. Okay, all right, hold on, wait. We
Oh, did I scare you? You pressed the wrong button. You wasn't ready. Pineapples?
No. Well, I'm just thinking that I don't know if dead dogs get streams taken down. But hold on, real quick. Car designer Chris in the building said if we get rid of welfare, the unwed mother rate would drop dramatically. I agree. Plus the marriage rate would go up. I agree.
Moynihan says otherwise, but hey, you know.
That's who said Moynihan says otherwise?
We'll explain that one.
Well, no, I'm laughing. That's
not
based on everything. That was just a bad joke.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because Moynihan says related to the system, giving hands out.
Right. Okay, gotcha. And also thank you to I think that's the power of offense. Thank you for the $10 cash app. I appreciate that. And shout out to car designer Chris. Do appreciate you supporting the stream. But so let's go.
Let me explain what you accidentally clicked.
Oh no!
on, right?
Oh wait, no, that's
it's not a dead
dog.
anything. It's a living. That's a lamb. So what you just said a minute ago, Bernard, technically we aren't at the stage of just putting an egg and a sperm in a bag and then tying the bag off with a little twist tie and letting the magic happen. We're almost there. We're not there yet. What you
they
can
did
do
that with a lamb.
Not exactly. I'm not going to explain. The lamb was inseminated like inside of a mother lamb, and after a certain point in the development cycle, they extracted the fetus and placed it in a bag with a reproduction of amniotic fluid. I was calling it that Matrix gel. You know, in the Matrix,
I
when
was
Keanu
thinking
Reeves
the
come
Matrix.
out the pod,
Yeah.
when Keanu comes out the pod and he's covered in all that slime. The slime is real now. The Matrix slime is real. So if you can like extrapolate this vision in your mind, this is a Matrix pod. This is a baby in a bag.
You know how they came up with this, right?
How?
Okay. And how they came up with the Matrix thing, right? Okay. You've had children before. Were you present? Were you the gentleman?
I was there.
Children, were you present for the birth?
I was there at least once. I saw the whole thing. Like I said, magical.
So you know the amniotic, you're right? When the amniotic sac breaks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all that shit happens, all the stuff that comes out with the baby, right? There are occasions, I believe it's like 2 of every 1,000 something. I could be wrong on that, but please somebody can fact check me on it. And where the amniotic sac does not break, and everything comes out intact.
Wow.
By everything, you mean what?
Like
The
an egg,
entire
basically.
amniotic sac intact, everything just comes out.
So Bernard, you know, like if you ever watch live animals give birth and the mother has to kind of like lick the baby clean, she is actually licking off the sac and the amniotic fluid. So what if like a human baby, we break the amniotic fluid or it ruptures?
We're talking about a placenta. I think it's called,
Not
right?
not the placenta, the amniotic sac and everything else inside the amniotic sac, which would include the placenta and the baby.
Right.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know there was a wall beyond the placenta.
Yeah,
I
when the
just
water
thought-
breaks, when the water breaks, right? That is that's the amniotic sac rupturing.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is why all that fluid comes through, because that's amniotic fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so there are like 2 of every 1,000 births or something, 2 of every 100,000 births or something like that. It comes out like it's just like clean as a whistle. Everything in one handy dandy package, instead of the big mess that happens. And so, going back, they were like, "Well, if this is structurally possible, we can create this amniotic sac to, instead of it just being from the indeterminate time of the end of the science, or the other trimester, or whatever trimester that it happens, because preemies can happen this way too. Often, like I said, most often this happens with premature births, but starting from beginning within this. Like, did you guys ever do the science study with an egg and vinegar?
No,
Yeah.
no. It sounds
Yeah, I
familiar
did.
though.
You know, you put an egg in vinegar. The vinegar, the acetic acid in the vinegar eats away at the calcium of the egg, and you're left with this sac that's inside of the egg.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Just
It's a brave new world, bro. This
Yeah,
is the
man.
future of babies right here.
what happens when? Okay, if we're damn, had something on my tongue. Okay. Anyway, so if we're all the way down this path where they can, build a baby in a bag, basically, they just need an egg and some sperm. Eventually, never mind. I was going too far down the rabbit hole. You can't replicate the egg and the semen. You could replicate the environment that it needs to be in to grow, but you can't
Yes.
replicate that. So I was just trying to think, like, how close are we to making humans without even human involvement? Because in the Matrix, they was growing humans. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but you got to figure they were just using artificial insemination even in the Matrix. They'll just suck the sperm out of you, suck the egg out of you, and make a baby without you even knowing.
But in a lot of science fiction as well, right? You'll talk about species that have evolved to procreate asexually, right? And that's essentially what they're doing. They're either doing it in the method that way, but then eventually, again, you take these steps in technological advancements, right? Eventually, if you can write proteins, if you can write proteins, right, then you can, there's going to be a time in which you can write proteins. There's going to be a time when you can write DNA.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting.
if you can use the building blocks of what these things are and place them in the
That's
proper
interesting.
sequencing, right?
Eventually,
that's
theoretically,
part of what that CRISPR stuff is, right? It's
Yeah,
part of what
the
CRISPR
CRISPR
technology is.
CRISPR stuff is amazing, but as I always said with CRISPR, you have to have that initial genetic material before
Mhm.
they can tweak the genes and select the right genes for height, for athleticism, for intelligence, for this, for that, and just make some super babies, because they literally can do that right now. They can, everybody has in them, not everybody, but for the most part, most people have the ability to create within them some,
Steve
if I
Rogers.
have a child right now, it's a less than 1% chance I could create black Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
It's
Steve Rogers.
yeah, it's a less than 1% chance. I may fall short of
Whoa.
that and produce a LeBron James. But on average, I'm going to probably produce somebody similar in height and build to me. But so they can select for the genes and create. They could basically it'll be your genes, but the best
Optimized.
sequence of it. The best organized and best sequence.
the
of
best
your
you can be.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
You guys see the movie Twins with
Love
Arnold
capacity,
Schwarzenegger and Danny
synapse
DeVito?
circulation,
Yeah, there you go.
giving your
Yeah.
kid the best opportunity to take advantage of peak human being, right? Like everything instead of the more traditional process, we'll put it that way, of it almost to the effect of, because you could also choose recessive genes that are beneficial. Right? So it's not just dominant genes, but there are recessive genes that may be beneficial in circumstances.
Mhm.
And so you can choose those things to, you know, oxygenation, lung capacity, vascular capacity, synapse activity, you know. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, one of my favorite movies is Gattaca, where they were basically doing that. You know, they literally could
Yeah.
creating humans. It was literally no. Well, it was a funny line in the movie. He said, "We got racism and discrimination down to a science. They could just take a
Yeah.
drop of your blood and know exactly what you are and everything about you and how you're gonna perform and everything." Because again, at the moment of, before you were even born, when you were just conceived, they went and did what they're doing with CRISPR and plucked out everything. Now that CRISPR it's a beast, because it's going to make it to where the propensity to get cancer or heart failure or whatever the genetics is behind that, they can pull that out of the human genome, so to speak. They can pull it out of there. So
I don't know. Well, I mean, some
well,
cancers,
maybe
but I don't
not.
know. Yeah.
Okay, I mean it's that's the concept. That's the concept. It's some stuff that they can get rid of and make sure that this person grows up and doesn't have that. So that's
That's
one of the
not
most
good.
amazing things. That's one of the most amazing things in science right now. That whole thing. Yeah, but anyway, Realto Properties in the building says, "Doesn't the lamb represent Christ?" Interesting.
Yeah, the
Interesting take
symbolism is
on that.
there.
Interesting take on
I,
that.
but I have one more thing queued up before we get out of here. I know we're running a little late. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
get out of
well,
here too.
yeah. Well, hold on. Well, yeah. Before we do, that'd be the last thing we'll look at. Fascinating show today. Y'all talking about everything. Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know if that's an old one. He said, "I got 5 on it. BR interesting show." Yeah. See, these are older. Oh wait. See, I apologize. I didn't star the last few super chats, so I'm trying to find them. Hold on, I'm gonna click on what you got waiting right there. Hood Conservative, we'll see what that is. All right, so that's E Capone. Shout out to you. I saw that one. I think that is. Oh no. Oh wait, no. I think that is it. I don't know if I saw this one. He said, "I blame this woke stuff on females. As soon as women donated colleges, I think you mean dominated colleges, education, all this weird woke stuff became mainstream." Absolutely, absolutely. Car designer Chris in the building. He says, "If we get rid of welfare." Oh yep, I did read that one. All right, I think I'm up to date. I'm up to date. Thank you everybody who's super chatting. Let me move us out the way. Let me get the super chat out the way, and then I guess get us out the way too.
All right. What if we could grow a baby right in our living room? Now it's a concept design.
Wait a minute. Was that guy in the video the same guy that was singing that one song? No, that's not him.
dude, see, stop being creepy, because that's the other question I have with this whole, like, anybody can grow a baby. Like, if you can order a baby on Amazon, you know who's going to be buying the most kids, right?
Oh
But,
yeah,
like, we're going to leave that alone.
And based off that first video we looked at, they're going to be buying the babies and indoctrinating them. So yeah, we can call out that game plan all day.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole I do not want to go down. It's designed to replace the womb and pregnancy. And now the question you kind of have to ask is, what will the lives of women become once the womb and pregnancy are no longer, you will no longer have a monopoly on the life creation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly that. See, my position is different than most in here in the manosphere. I'm for egalitarianism. I'm for not being beholden, right? And the situation is, in our society as it is, men aren't allowed to be fathers because the balance of power is shifted so far to cut them out or place contingencies upon their participation that it's become ridiculous. So an advent of something like this negates that.
Yeah.
And so I'm also a future, we can say technocrat or futurist. Again, fighting against change never stops it. It never stops. You just got to figure out how to manage and adapt to the change that's around you and the changes that are coming.
Look, this is the creepy part right here. You see this? That's the food that you have to give the fetus.
Oh, so just like we back in the Matrix. Remember when he said they intravenously feed the
Look.
living? Yeah.
You see that? This is creepy as hell.
Is it though?
It's creepy to our eyes. To them, it'll be the norm.
I mean,
it's a matter of socialization.
It's essentially creating the same process that already happens.
I would disagree.
The mother's food that she eats, right? Like creepy part, creepy things to think about is, a lot of that amniotic fluid is urine that gets recycled.
Well, I mean, that's not creepy. I mean, natural biological functions, I hesitate to describe them as creepy in and of itself. Like, the body has to manage waste. So, yeah, fine. However, you're putting a baby in a pod and standing them up in a corner in your living room. Not a baby. You're growing a baby in your living room. Like, what if you have a dog? What if Beethoven knocks the stand over?
Yeah, that would probably be a little bit irresponsible, but I think this is an extreme concept for extreme outlier. This is not going to be. But you'd have
If it
to
gets
factor for
efficient-
those things, right?
I mean, okay, with anything like this, the science ain't ready,
Right.
So, but
This
if
isn't,
it gets
this isn't coming out
efficient-
in 2030.
Nah, no, I just
the land
realized
is real, so it could be relatively quick.
Car designer Chris in the building. He says all you need to do is figure out how to clone sperm in a woman's egg, and voila, no more sex. Yeah, I mean that's the hard part. We're not as smart as the machines in the Matrix yet. So
Not necessarily. Again, because sex has a pleasure component to it as well. It's like, again, just because it's not gonna be. I mean, I think eventually there's going to come to that point where, again, I don't understand. This is part of the thing. Okay, so we're talking about sex here, and that comment was talking about sex. So it's funny, it's hilarious to me that, oh my gosh, a pocket vagina or anything that's used on a man's phallus in the form of a masturbatory fashion is so gross and disgusting from the same people who've been sticking plastic in their vaginas and wood in their vaginas for how long?
Yeah. I think that whole conversation is a little bit of a canard. The sexual pleasure and all that hedonism is its own world, and it's its own.
Yeah.
I don't think that you do the subject justice by getting bogged down in that. Let me rephrase it. What would it do to humanity to essentially revert back to an egg-laying species? Because that's basically what that is. That's a fucking egg. And now we're an egg-laying species. What does that do to us to become egg-laying people?
Don't know. I don't know.
Wow. I didn't even look
Motherfuckers
at
gonna
it
be
from that
laying eggs in the
perspective.
future, bro. We're gonna be out here. Niggas gonna be sitting at home. You simp ass niggas gonna be sitting at home, sitting on another man's egg, cause for the community. She just told me she had to go out. She be back.
I don't know if y'all watched the Orville. I used to love that show. I hope they bring it back. But it was two the alien species, but y'all know how it is on those shows. The alien species, they got 2 arms, 2 legs, and walk and talk and do everything like humans. They look like they were built like humans, walk like humans, talk like humans. So when you see them, you just associate it with, okay, they're mammals. But no, they actually laid eggs, and then one of them, they were they were a one sex species. It was all male for the most part. The species was all male, but it's weird to explain. Weird species, but one of them. So they have a baby, and then one of them would have to just like sit on the egg, like how chickens, hens, birds. They sit on the egg to keep them warm. So his big ass, and they was like big. They were kind of bulky too. They were muscular, and his big ass just sitting up on the egg like this, just to keep it warm. Like that was his duty.
It's predictive programming. They're trying to get you ready for your egg laying future, bro.
See,
when you said the simp dudes will be sitting on somebody else's egg.
Yeah.
Oh man.
See, more of the vision that I have again of this is less of the in-home thing and more like a honeycomb hive. Right? And there's a facility that does this. Right, takes your DNA, takes your partner's DNA, right? Optimizes it, puts it in this deal, and it's the job of that facility to gestate, and then just like you would go in and it's the day, right? It's what do they call it? It's the birthday, but what the delivery date, right? You would have a delivery date for a predicted delivery date for regular pregnancy. You'd have that with this, and you go in and you get your child.
You know what movie you're describing, Judge Zilla? Brave New World. Again,
maybe
if you have,
I have read.
No,
I have read the book. I don't think I've seen the movie.
I have not read the book, but I have watched the movie, and in the Society of a Brave New World,
Aldous
they are
Huxley,
very, I believe so. Yes, they are very advanced, very high tech, very like a beautiful people, like it was designed for that kind of aesthetic on purpose. So it's like a really cool looking, super futuristic society. And now the movie was made like in the 80s, so their version of it, but the society essentially reproduced through artificial means. Nobody had live birth, but everybody was fucking everybody. All the women were sluts. You couldn't say no. Like, it was rude for a woman to turn down a man's sexual advances. So everybody was fucking everybody. There was this drug called Soma that they gave everybody. So in case you ever started feeling sad or weird or whatever, just pop some drugs and you feel happy. Then you go fuck somebody, and then life goes on. You go back to your job at whatever. And like the whole society was raised like that. And the creepiest thing about it is the kids. And this is what I mean about what does it mean to shift our reproduction in such a way? The kids, because they're grown in labs essentially, right? They don't have a natural mother-father unit. So their whole child rearing is taken over by the state. And just like we're seeing now with all this questionable material being introduced into the curriculums, this sexual nature material being introduced to kids, in the movie Brave New World, when they educated the kids, they had things called like erotic play and basically like masturbatory play. Like they were sexualizing the kids as a matter of state policy almost from the jump. And so like what I'm telling you, when you start getting into these weird dystopian sci-fi classics, bro, we are living in the horrors that the old people, like the old classic writers predicted. And like this stuff is right here in front of us.
Right. But again, right. You have to have conflict, right? So, a story has to have conflict. And so an author understands that. And he's going to introduce conflict into his story because, you can't have 2 hours of something tells me I'm into something. You can't have a good time montage movie. As a story, it's not going to work. It's part of it's like the thing with the architect with the Matrix. We tried to give you a perfect world, and y'all said "fuck you." It's that thing. So I do remember, 20 years ago reading Brave New World, and so it may have had an impact on me. But I don't know. It's hard to predict what the future is going to bring with these changes. But again, the only constant in the universe is change.
Change. Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter how much you fight against it. You know, what do they call them? Furriers, right? Hated Henry Ford. But who's still riding horses?
Mm.
Yeah.
People who race them.
Yeah, I mean, we could debate this endlessly because the way things are going, man, like maybe black people should consider being Amish. I mean, listen, either we become Amish or you let the state make your kids gay. But I think that's a great point for us to end.
Yeah, we're gonna end. Yeah, let's end on that one. All right, man. Listen, like, look, while y'all still in here, make sure you go and subscribe to the Hood Conservative if you haven't already. The Hood Conservative Culture and Politics Review. Man, he do a good job covering these kinds of topics. If you enjoyed this, you definitely enjoy his channel. He do this all day. I can't do this every day.
It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, man. I can't do this every day. He do this every day. So yeah, make sure y'all go check him out. But man, thank you everybody. Appreciate everybody coming through, everybody who supported the stream in any way, shape, or form, whether you super chat, cash app, like, share, subscribe, whatever the hell you did to participate. I appreciate you, and we are out of here. Peace.